Starting the stream. Did I do that right?
I think so, yeah.
All right.
Sounded good to me.
Hello, everyone. This is Mr. Technodad and the dog who needs no introduction and EvanMCGaming. I hope everybody is doing EvanMCGaming. I hope everybody
Hello,
is
chat.
doing
Hi. Hello, chat.
So we're
Hello, chat.
welcome. This is the first stream on the Technoblade channel that I've ever done. And you know what this comes out of is that first of all, I don't know anything about the DSMP. It's like the number one thing that people talk about. Arguably the number one thing. It's one of the most popular things. Matthew. It's one of the most popular things. Or woman. I'm not assuming anything. Or woman. I'm not assuming anything. I'm a boomer, so I get this stuff wrong all the time. But I'm doing my darndest. So I get this stuff wrong all the time. But I'm doing my darndest. Dream SMP is one of the things that I hear people talk about when they talk about.
Chat's saying there's an echo, by the way.
What's that?
Chat's saying there's an echo.
Chat is saying there's an echo.
Yeah. I mean, and more of us is always better, right?
Well,
Yeah.
what would the echo
more of us is
be?
always better.
Well,
Yeah.
what would the echo be?
Well,
Maybe if I wasn't so darn loud. Maybe if I wasn't so darn
yeah, that's probably it. Oh, no, it's because we are both wearing a mic, I think. Is that it?
No, try it now. Let's see. Give chat a moment to see. But now they're not getting desktop audio.
It's
So-
echoing.
I just want to apologize to everyone because,
Oh, they said it's good now.
oh,
Good now. Okay. So,
awesome.
So the way that I fixed it is by turning down desktop audio. So
Okay.
switching between the two, it's just going to take me a moment to switch.
Okay, so when we're talking versus watching the video, it'll take a second. All right,
makes-
thank you, chat. Chat comes in clutch.
Thank
once
you,
again.
chat,
Yeah.
and thank you, Harry. I was probably saying something.
Yeah, you were.
Technoblade, Dream SMP, you guys have all heard it. Weirdly, not weird, but sort of inexplicably, Alex never talked to me very much about DSMP stuff. A little bit, but all the other things he did, he talked to me about a lot, and I don't really know too much about this. On top of which, we have people have been asking for the idea of me doing a watch, like a react video. I don't even have the right vocabulary. Something
I think React.
like we're doing now.
Yeah.
Onyx has become a channel member. I don't know how you pronounce those diacritical marks, so I did my best. Eldolin. I'm just talking too much. So what we're going to do is, this is Evan. Thank you, Whimpers. We're getting a lot of channel members. That's kind of, I really did not expect that. So the other things, oh boy, Pogi Amiga Seshimaru.
What are you saying?
Moki Momai. What I have heard people say, I've heard, like, I'm on the Reddit a lot, as many of the Technoblade sub-Redditors know. Wong has become a channel member. And one of the things I hear there a lot, the camera's over there, actually. I'm watching the, okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
Close enough.
what's that?
It's close enough.
It's close enough. Sir Pounce? That's a cat name.
That's a name, all right.
think.
Yeah. Or this dog, this dog specifically.
There's a bunch of people who joined Kawaii Squad. A bunch of people who have said that they feel bad that they missed ever getting a chance to see Techno stream. And, I feel that. I'm not Technoblade, but I'm like, the emergency Technoblade hologram, if you've ever watched Voyager. So please state the nature of the Technoblade emergency, and then here I am. My wife is cringing like crazy right now with that reference, because what a nerd. But, you know,
We're all nerds here.
it's who I am. Thank you, Creeper. Yes, thank you, sweetie. I love you. Kiss, kiss. Something dumb has become a channel member. So what we're going to do is some not still nailed down very well plan around reviewing the Dream SMP and Technoblade's role in it. And we're starting that process with input from Evan.
Yeah.
Now you go.
Okay, now I go. Well, I wanted to start by saying thank you so much for having me. It's an absolute honor to be here. This is, you know, kind of come into fruition over the past few weeks. I just got a random message saying that Technoblade's dad will be reaching out to you shortly. And I was like, huh? What? I had no idea what to think, but I was like, hey, if that happens, then I'll deal with that when it happens. And sure enough, here we are. And I mean, I'm just glad to be a part of this journey, to start his journey into the world of the Dream SMP, and to go through it with so many of you who didn't get a chance to see all the streams that happened live. And hopefully, the information that we discussed today can give a good background for the stream series that he will be doing for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, so, you know, I probably could have prepared better for the part where we're actually on the stream, but literally 90 seconds before we actually went live, I was unplugging audio cables and moving stuff around. Can everyone hear me? So, you know, I'm lucky that we're alive. And we started on time, didn't we? Did we start
Roughly,
like later
yeah.
too?
Yeah.
That's weird. We probably should have delayed 5 minutes just, you know, because of tradition.
Well, you see, then chat would have been calling us late, so, you know.
They would have been calling us Technolate.
Oh, no. Yeah. Hey, it's better to be on time and have an echo than be late.
Okay, so I think without further ado,
The Technolates are coming
without
in
further
now.
ado,
Dang.
we
We almost
yes.
avoided it. We almost avoided it. We reminded them.
All right.
They're being nice to you. And we reminded them.
Luke's in. All right.
They're being nice to you. And we reminded them.
So we're now going to attempt
They're being
the
nice to you. And
difficult operation
We're
now
going
of hitting the play
They're being
button
nice to you.
with the person who's watching the hitting the play button
going.
monitor. Oh, we're going. With the person who's watching the.
We can't hear it, by the way.
I can't hear it. Oh, we're going.
We can't hear it, by the way.
Oh,
No.
we're going.
We can't hear it, by the way.
No.
No.
We're going.
We can't hear it. No. Does it have something to do with what you did to fix the echo? No. Does it have something to do with what you did to fix the echo? No. Does it have something to do with what you did to fix the echo?
Just jumped us forward 45 minutes.
Does it have something to do
just
with
jumped
what
us
you did?
forward
Amazing frame of
45
Tommy. Does it have something to do with
Jumped us forward
amazing frame
45
of Tommy? Does it have something to do with
Jumped us.
You could just almost just mute us while it's playing, and then if we have to talk. You could just almost just mute us while it's playing, and then if we have to talk. You could just almost just mute us while it's playing, and then if we have to talk. You could just almost just mute us while it's playing. No, it was
Yeah, it
working
was working
earlier.
an hour ago.
It was working 10 minutes ago.
It was working 10 minutes ago.
It was working an hour
Okay.
ago. It was working 10
Echo's
minutes
back.
ago.
It was working 10 minutes ago.
It was working an hour
Okay.
It was working 10
Echo's.
minutes
All right.
I'll make the echo go away, but for you guys to hear it. So, I mean, the desktop audio is clearly going.
Here we go.
So desktop audio
Technical
is happening,
difficulties.
but I don't know what else needs to be going where. All right, Evan, you can entertain.
Buy the merch. Everyone go buy the merch right now. Link is in the description. Hello, chat. How's it going? How's everyone's day? Man, chat is small, even for me.
Can you hear the audio?
All right, everyone's spamming the merch. Thank you, everyone, for the super chats and the channel members as well.
Oh, what about
Um,
what's the? What's the level?
See if I can get this dog over here.
Well,
Floof.
it's off right now. It's
Come
off
on.
right now.
What is off?
So,
All right.
So,
well, he's not wanting to be my friend right now.
so right now the desktop audio is off out to stream.
Everyone, subscribe to Technoblade, obviously. Shooting for 20 million subscribers by the end of today.
I can try.
Let's make it happen.
I can make sure that this audio is going.
Floof's just being a bit camera shy right now, I guess.
Okay, so here we go. So if I turn this audio.
So, funny story
on,
about
we can
Floof,
chat if they
actually.
can hear it.
Oh, I said his name and now he looks at me.
So let's chat if they can
So
hear it.
yesterday, when I got to the house, when I got to the house, was going absolutely insane. Floof was going absolutely insane. Yeah? They're saying echo again.
Echo is back.
Yes, we'll be back.
They're saying echo again. Can chat? Can you hear the video? Can chat? Can you hear the video? Can chat?
Someone said turn off YouTube in the background.
Okay, so they can hear it. They can hear it then. Yeah. Okay. They can hear it. Yep. They can. Yeah, they can hear it.
Can you hear it?
No. Yep. They can hear it.
Can you hear it?
No.
Also, thanks to
So chat, this is a little bit of a background on how to set up a live. Well, I guess how to not to set up a live stream. How to set up a live. Well, I guess how to not to set up a live. We thought we had everything figured out, and we thought wrong. We thought we had everything figured out, and we thought wrong. We thought we had everything figured out, and we thought. Yeah, Floof is the real man behind this this whole operation. Yeah.
We're gonna turn that off and we're gonna start all over again.
E is for echo.
Okay. But we need to get it so that you guys.
Thank you so much, a very slow raptor, for becoming a channel member.
Playing.
Much appreciated.
And where does the video go to when it plays?
So the video
That's
goes
correct.
to the TV.
E
and then
is
the
for
TV,
echo.
We got the RCA out, which comes back to the mixer,
Okay.
and the mixer kind of seems to be showing.
I just found this. Let's see, what else is going on? Flash Gamer, thank you for becoming a channel member.
Yes, if you want to.
Ease in the chat. Killer Wolf, thank you so much for becoming a channel member. Yeah.
There's a great big pile of merch on that table if you want to just like show people.
Awesome. So they can go get this on. So you're saying if they go to Technoblade, what is the link? Technoblade.com/shop or something?
Technoblade.com.
Technoblade.com, even easier. Look at that.
So the mixer's not getting the audio.
Okay.
You mind if I open this?
Getting the audio.
All right. This is now turned into a merch unboxing video. All right, what we got here? Okay. First on the list,
Oh, we can go back to the play.
we have ourselves
Solution.
a Mr. Technodad shirt. Look at this.
No. Or
Look at the quality on this thing.
thought you were playing
You are
basketball
worthy
cards,
of
not
love.
on the
Yep,
TV.
right.
Yeah.
And that is true. You are all worthy of love.
So.
You can get this
So-
on
having the TV go out
technoblade.com.
to the mixer,
Is
have
it-
the TV just play.
What a merch plug. All right, here we go. Let me get these headphones off so I can actually grab something. Okay, up next, we've got another Technodad design. The dog's interested in this one. All right, let's see what we got here. Very, very nice. This one's a long sleeve. I love
There's no audio.
the designs on
getting
these are
to
incredible, by the
TV.
way. I love the little flower at the bottom. I don't know if you guys can see that. The little flower at the bottom, as well as the iconic dagger for the T on Technodad.
Well, you want to drag the. No, the.
Another amazing
Yeah.
design. Let's see.
But if the video is getting to the TV, so the audio.
One of these days we'll figure this out.
If you want to.
What else do we have here? We got a little. So this is a figurine. Are the figurines for sale on the website?
Yes.
Yes, look at that. Okay, so this is a little figurine. And now it's playing the audio through the stream. Okay. If I can figure out opening this thing, maybe. Okay. Here we go. So if you guys want your own little Technoblade figurine, I'm trying to get this out of this packaging. This little guy right here. Similar design to the plushie, the aggro plushie. This is Technoblade every time he saw a government. This is what he looked like, in person, actually. You know, it's not a very commonly known fact, but yeah, I was surprised when I heard that too. But if you want this, it's a historically accurate representation. You can grab it, again, on technoblade.com. Thank you guys all so much for being here as well. I know it's hard, everything that's happened. But I think the best way that we can all heal is by appreciating the good memories. And that's what this series is intended to do. And to relive those memories with somebody who hasn't lived through any of them, as many of you guys also have. So yeah, thank you all so much for being here. Let's see. They're saying, trying to read chat here. Is everything all good on the audio side, chat? I'm going to trust your judgment. Oh, here we go. Well, now I can hear, so everyone who's going to be spamming, your mic is muted. I know you're lying. Okay. No video, audio. Yeah. I think we are getting that fixed here in a second. Someone said I can't hear. Someone said there is audio. So somebody's not telling the truth. I don't know who it is. There we go. The iconic harp solo. Wait a minute. It's playing everything. It's playing the stream through my headphones, by the way. Okay. Well, I hope I've done enough stalling. The dog's coming back now that we're actually doing something on the stream. Okay, now I can hear the echo. Hold on. You hear that?
So we're getting this.
We're getting the stream audio through the headphones, by the way. Yeah. We're getting both, actually. Yeah. That's what we said. We did this echo just so that you guys could hear more of us here on the live stream. Because 2 Technodads is better than 1 Technodad.
I feel like everything I say is better than 1 Technodad. Yes. Is worth being heard at least twice.
Oh yeah, no, of course. That's why we did the echo. It's for everyone watching. You know, it's for the viewer experience. Optimal viewer experience. All right, let's see. Thank you so much, Wheezing Tea Kettle. I hope you're not referring to me. Coley, thank you for becoming a channel member. One of us, thank you again, all of you, for showing up. It's great to have all of you. Still getting the stream audio through the headphones. All right.
It would be nice to
thank you for sticking with us, chat. Well, we worked through this difficult time. All right. Hey, this is even better content because it's behind the scenes, right?
What's that?
This is, he didn't hear what I said. This is even better content because it's behind the scenes.
Yes.
Yeah. Exclusive, never before seen look into the world of a Technodad live stream.
This is why pre-recorded and edited video
That's, yeah, you know what?
has a real advantage.
That's true, but then we wouldn't have all of you amazing people in chat right now. And let's see. What we got? going on? Oh, chat saying true. That's right. I just realized if you have the headphones on and you didn't hear what I said, you just wait a few seconds so it'll come through the headphones. All right. More echoes. More echoes. Thank you so much, Olivia, for becoming a channel member. Again, everyone buy the merch. Technoblade.com.
Where'd that little plushie go?
Little plushie? It's over here. You mean the plushie or the figurine?
The plushie.
There you go. Angry Technoblade. You'll be seeing plenty of Angry Technoblade in the Dream SMP.
Did you do the Lego one?
The Lego one? No, I didn't see the Lego one.
Minifig?
Yo, wait. Hold on.
Look at that.
That's incredible. Okay, wait. Can you see this on the camera at all, chat? Can you see this, or do I need to move closer?
You should move closer.
I'll move closer. All right, let's see how this looks. Is that good? Look at this amazing figure.
I think we're probably set to manual focus, so that's probably really blurred for that.
That's a good point. Closer, closer. Is it blurry, chat? Yeah, it's blurry. Okay, it's manual focus, so yeah. You're gonna have to trust me on this one.
You can go see it on... Not yet.
You give him a look at this. I would totally get a floof plushie, personally.
I would get a floof plushie.
I mean, you have the actual
I have
dog,
the-
right?
I
You have the
have the
actual...
model.
I mean, this is like a plushie that moves around.
Yes. He's fully animatronic, fully articulated joints.
Yeah, exactly. He's so realistic, you know? The quality on this plushie is incredible.
I feel like
Everyone's spamming floof plushie.
floof plushie. It's a folks from Merchline. Anybody watching? What have I been saying for 6 months? Floof plushie. Where are we on that?
Okay. So I've made changes. Don't know if it's gonna work.
Okay.
Okay. So
Chat can obviously hear what we're saying
Yeah.
because they're demanding a floof plushie this very moment.
So try something. Should I maybe do push-ups?
Do push-ups. Push-up competition. Oh, 1,
No, I'm not.
2,
I'm not competing
3.
with an 18-year-old.
That's fair. Yeah?
the echo's coming from the headphones. So can you turn the headphones down, or those?
Yeah, the headphones are crazy high.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Me and Floof are bestest of friends. Is that right? He has no idea what's going on right now. He's just living his best life. Yeah? Okay, let me hear. So I do hear myself.
Okay. You hear yourself. Stream can hear you. Can you live with hearing yourself?
I can live with hearing myself. I don't think I'm that annoying most of the time. It's like,
Desktop audio on so you guys can hear the video, and then I'm gonna start playing the video, and you guys will see it after a second because I need to move it to the other one.
sounds good. Chat, are you ready? Chat, are you ready?
I feel like the levels on the mics are still too high. I feel like
Growth,
the levels on the mics
friendship,
We're going. We can't see it, by the way.
the life of the Dream SMP.
We're going.
These three truths
can't see it, by the way.
shape the story into one of the most treasured in Minecraft history. Spanning many months and including some of the most talented content creators in the community, the story has evolved well past that ever thought to come from a Minecraft server. To truly understand the story, we must go back to the beginning. Today, I will take you on a journey through the early days of the server and tell the story of part 1 of the Dream SMP. Really quick, this video took weeks to make, so if you could take 1 second to subscribe, it is completely free and it would make my day. Thank you. Also, thanks to Lord Cantor for letting me use his recreation of the Dream SMP for this video. If you want to see how he managed to rebuild the server, survival world. A few months prior, on February 5th, Minecraft released their first snapshot of 1.16, the Nether update. Because of Dream's focus on his channel, as well as his speedrunning grind that started shortly after, Dream had not had time to truly explore the new update. This world the server was growing. And along with it, the player base grew too. Before long, 2 new members had been added to the server, Punk and Bad Boy Halo. Although Bad Boy Halo was a neutral force during the early days of the server, his presence would be felt much more later in the story. Punk, on the other hand, got to work right away building his first giant lemon tree. He also began trapping people's bases. He started this with George. In an act of revenge for the trap, George decided to burn down the entirety of Punk's lemon tree, prompting him to build another one farther down the path. But little did he know, this second tree, along with his careless actions of setting traps in people's bases, would drive the server to chaos.
What is the echo coming from?
Is it?
Well, why are we hearing
What if we
the
just
mixed audio?
Before that happened,
When we had this all
another
set up and
player
working,
was added to
we
the server.
only heard the audio from the
Most
from the video
important
file.
addition yet.
Yeah.
This
What
player
changed that we're hearing the mix now?
Yeah.
I don't know.
TommyInnit was an up-and-coming creator.
I see Tommy.
who knew how to start.
Hey, yeah, you know that guy.
His channel
Audio is
saw
back.
success
Okay.
from Hypixel Skyblock.
It's all fixed. It's working. It's all good. Okay, can we restart the video now?
All good. Okay, can we restart the
Can we hear it? Hold on.
Subscribers. This was a huge opportunity for Tommy. And he did not.
They just said it was fixed, and now the echo's back.
He entered the Dream SMP.
What did you just change?
I don't think it was actually.
What did you just change?
It was like they were
Oh no. Oh.
So do you have any idea how you could take
I swear,
the
guys,
mix audio off the stream and take it back to?
it was working until we pressed the go live button, you know? I think that's what broke it.
Try this, just in case.
This is the most entertaining stream ever.
Okay, try this.
All right, we're gonna have to trust chat on this one.
I'm still hearing you.
Yeah. And I'm hearing you.
Are you guys hearing the video?
Yes. I'm hearing everything.
No audio on video, they're saying. Change video to the video output, or to change video to the video output. I'm hearing myself and it is messing with me. Okay, I'm gonna go over there.
You know,
Keep
you
them
know this shit
entertained.
as well.
Keep them entertained.
Okay, so for once, I'm gonna, yes, for once, I just want everyone to know you are worthy of love. I should probably totally shill Mr. Technoblade merch, right? Which is like, I think there's some in here. This is a white oak boken, by the way, which is going to be in an upcoming Mr. Technoblade video, which is why I have it. I'm sure Evan already showed you everything, but zip-up hoodies have been a big request.
This time, he would follow the rules.
Look at that. Look at that. I can use this to hide my shame.
A bit more damage and claiming everything he could see as his property, Tommy decided to end his stream. His actions on the first
They didn't really do
server were
hoodies
only
when
in
I
the
was
beginning, as he
in
would
high school. They
essentially
called them
every
sweatshirts, and they were slightly different. And
2 days later, the first
Old
war
people are
with
funny.
Dream SMP began. It all started when Tommy decided to build his house.
do you remember the Festival of Voices?
next to Punk's giant
That was a great thing. We had
Tommy
no
and Tommy, they
technical
always
difficulties
seemed
on that one
fighting over
at all. And also Pink was has been a big requested item.
Following the trolling of his house,
Hot
Sapnap
elbows.
seeks revenge.
I feel like I should have like a deck of cards or something, and I can do close-up magic. Do we have?
It's playing the video in the background right
I
now.
think
I'm
there's
just gonna-
probably something we could find somewhere in the studio that I could work with, like a Hirogen warrior, like a 12-inch action figure Hirogen warrior. You know, Hirogens are only found in the Delta Quadrant. I don't know if you knew that. Part of my marriage is continuing to
Sapnap was able to
educate
get
my
Tommy
wife
on his side.
on nerd stuff. I'm
Chat,
totally
is the
kidding.
echo fixed?
I'm totally kidding. She knows Hirogens are only in the Delta Quadrant because I married well. Oh, you know something Techno would say? Every so often, you know, some people ask me like, what would Techno say about blah? And a lot of the times, like, I don't know. But sometimes I know exactly what he would say. And he would say, I sell socks for some reason. So we got Technoblade socks, and they will keep you warm. And the One of Us Foundation T-shirt. With the awesome logo. And oh yes. And can we get some E's in chat? E in the chat. Anybody want to do that?
What does this do?
I didn't the box that says paid promotion, so I probably can't show you this, but I'm drinking some Gatorade. What's a story? I could tell a story.
Wait a minute.
About. Okay. Yeah. Why not? Okay. So I have a lot of kids, and one of the things that dads do when they're putting their kids to bed is bedtime stories. And
Audio's coming through here.
Oh.
I Sorry, there's a.
Chat, we figured it out. I got it. Don't worry.
Oh, yep. That's.
I am a live streamer now. Let's go.
That's
So,
gotta be it.
It was playing the stream audio through the computer, so that's where the echo was coming from. All right, chat. No echo. We fixed it. Okay. Whew. All right, we can breathe now.
Let's get the video set back up.
We still, I still am wondering if the audio that goes with the video will play on the headphones.
Well, we're just gonna have to find out. We don't really have a better option. I mean,
I'll hit the play button and then you can tell me.
Growth, friendship, and ruin.
La la
Across
la
the
la
life
la.
of the Dream SMP,
Across
these three
the
truths have
Okay,
shaped
so
the
for me it's
story into one of
perfect.
the most
What is
treasured in
chat saying in that?
Pause it.
tiny,
Pause the
tiny
video.
little
Pause the
font?
video.
months and including some of the most talented content.
we did it. We did it. They said it's perfect. Oh my.
Yay!
Oh, thank goodness. Okay. It was that simple. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All I did was click a button and now it works. So, okay,
All right.
we can officially get the stream started now. That was all just one big joke intro. Thank you guys for playing along with the
that
joke.
That was like fully scripted.
How'd we
meant to do that.
How was our performance? By the way,
meant-
when we were muted and we were laughing super hard, that was all. We knew we were muted.
No, we had no jokes, but it would be
Yeah.
like he'd turn to me and say, "Now laugh as if I said something really clever," and I went.
No, actually, you did say something amazing, and they're never going to get to hear it.
Are you guys ready now?
What? You? There's supposed to be some DSMP content in this stream, I guess.
Let's start from the beginning. That's why we're here, right?
Let's just all reconcile ourselves right now to the fact that Evan is going to be missing his plane flight.
Okay, yeah. I think I need to reconcile with that, but
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I guess we could hit play. There it is.
And
here we go.
Friendship. The
Across
power
life
of
the Dream
friendship.
SMP, these three truths have shaped the story into one of the most treasured in Minecraft history. Spanning many months and including some of the most talented content creators in the community, the story has evolved well past that
That's
ever
Wilbur.
thought to come from a Minecraft server.
Video is too quiet.
To truly understand the story, we must go back to the beginning.
Just turn up the desktop
Today, I
audio.
will take you on a journey through the early days of the server and tell the story of part 1 of the Dream SMP.
Perfect.
Really
Everyone's
quick,
spamming
this
perfect.
video took weeks to make, so if you
Yes.
could take 1 second to subscribe, it is completely free and it would make my day.
In this case,
Thank
subscribe to Technoblade.
Also, thanks to Lord Cantor for letting me use his recreation of the Dream SMP for this video. If you want to see
We did
how
it,
he
guys,
managed
we
to
did it.
rebuild the server block for block,
Yeah, so
go
exactly.
check out his
This is
channel in
how
the
I was
top
able
link
to
of the
get
video.
some of all these
you were
shots.
saying, that's
Anyway,
crazy.
let's start from the beginning.
It looks like there's got to be at least 100 blocks.
Day 1
Oh, yeah.
of the Dream SMP.
At least 100.
A time before war, before nations, before death. A much simpler time than what we know today. A time
Especially than what we know
of
today.
peace.
I mean,
On April 25th,
I say we
Dream
like
and
we both
George
know,
created
but
what has grown
yes.
into one of the most influential Minecraft servers ever. But to them, it was just a normal survival world. A few months prior, on February 5th,
that cursor.
Minecraft released their first snapshot
see
of
it.
1.16, the Nether update. Because of Dream's focus on his channel, as well as his speedrunning grind that started shortly after, Dream had not had time to truly explore the new update. This world finally gave him a chance to do so. During their first stream, Dream and George
So this
intended
is
just to play the game.
1.16.
Yeah.
No speedrunning,
Which is now an old
no Minecraft
right,
manhunt,
update, you know, it's
just
crazy.
plain old survival.
We're on 1.20 or
And
something.
that's exactly what they did.
120. It's like
After
1 or
making
2,
a
something
portal,
like that.
Dream and George explored the new biomes and structures added to the game. After a long journey through the Nether, the two decided to head back. After dying in the
Yeah,
Nether, the two journeyed back to gather.
Yeah, he died again.
They finally were able to find their stuff and escape.
They must have died at least like 10 times. That's
They
true.
lost all their stuff. Later, they finally
no one
were
even
able
hunting
to
him, too.
explore the
crazy.
Bastion with no problems, and by the end of the stream, things were looking good. Soon after the beginning of the SMP, its first members other than Dream and George were added. These included Sapnap, the third member of the Dream team, as well as their close friends It's Alyssa and DSMP. Over the next streams, the 5 were able to develop the world considerably. One of these projects included the centerpiece of the SMP and oldest building on the server, the community
not at
house.
this point in the server, no.
Located in the middle of the lake, the community house, as well as the paths branching off of it, still stands today as a hub for travel across the main server.
It's like
A few
the
other
most
notable
main
builds
area.
include the community nether portal, which also remains a very important location today, and the courthouse, which is pretty self-explanatory. The server was growing. And along with it, the player base grew too. Before long, 2 new members have been added to the server, Punk and Bad Boy Halo. Although Bad Boy
That's
Halo
bad.
was a neutral force during the early days of the server,
That's
his
real
presence
footage,
would be
too.
felt much
He actually-
more
yeah.
later in the story. Punk, on the other hand, got to work right away building his first giant lemon tree.
It's just a big tree.
He also began trapping people's bases. He started this with George. In an act of revenge for the trap, George decided to burn down the entirety of Punk's lemon tree, prompting him to build another one farther down the path. But little did he know, this second tree, along with his careless actions of setting traps in people's
Yeah.
bases, would drive the server to
couldn't help
chaos,
himself.
That's a lot
causing
of TNT.
the first war.
I think he'll get whoever he's trying to get with that.
But before that happened, another player was added to the server. The most important addition yet. This player was TommyInnit.
there he is.
TommyInnit was an up-and-coming creator
hate
who
that
knew
picture
how
of
to
him.
start drawing.
He uses it everywhere.
After his
and
channel
it's a
saw early
terrible
success from
picture.
Hypixel
I
Skywalk,
tried to make that
he was
face so
invited
many
to join the
times, and
new
I just can't
creator
do it. I don't know how he did it.
SMP Earth. Holding over 60 creators, many with millions of subscribers, this was a huge opportunity for Tommy. And he did not hesitate to try to fight all of them.
Yep.
He entered the Dream
That's
SMP
weird.
with the same goal. Coming off the recently ending SMP Earth, Tommy was ready for more fighting. And on his first day, he got straight to work. July 4th. After hours of streaming, Tommy gets a completely out of the blue message from Dream inviting him to the SMP. Joining without hesitation, Tommy immediately set out to do one thing: annoy everyone.
As he
He
does.
quickly became a
That's
problem,
kind of his thing.
stealing from chests and killing George repeatedly. This resulted in him being taken to jail within about 20 minutes of joining the server. A record that stands to this day. After pulling an epic gamer move and escaping, he continued to destroy things. This resulted in Dream teleporting him far away from spawn,
Jarrell.
banishing him temporarily.
The goat.
However, Tommy was not going to let this stop him from annoying them. Coming back by dying, Dream kept having to teleport him. This went on for a few minutes before TommyInnit had become the first player to be banned on the server.
Yep.
One Twitter block later,
And he never
Tommy
got let
was
back in either.
What is he like?
This time, he would follow the rules.
He looks like a.
Well,
He looks even
kinda.
more like a kid.
Yeah.
After causing a bit more damage and claiming everything he could see as his property, Tommy decided to end his streak.
He
His
literally put
actions
signs
on
on
the first
things
day of
saying
the server
property of
would
Tommy
only
in
be
it.
the beginning, as he would be streaming nearly every day on the SMP.
Dream heard that and probably about had a heart attack.
2 days later, the first war on the Dream SMP began. It all started when Tommy decided to build his house in a hill directly next to Punk's giant lemon tree.
Big mistake.
Tommy being Tommy, they almost immediately began fighting over land. This resulted in Punk killing Tommy and also trapping his house. Following the trolling of his house, Sapnap sought revenge, and he was able to get it by burning down most of Punk's lemon tree. Enraged by his actions, Ponk teamed up with its Alyssa to get him back
He
again.
needs to find a way to build a house
They
that can't
then
be burned
down
That
his
seems like a
entire
significant
house.
problem with Punk's house.
They had crossed the line. Sapnap knew he had to put an end to this, but he couldn't do it alone. Though it took some convincing, Sapnap was able to get Tommy on his side, and together they would kill Ponk and Alyssa.
Aw.
Until, in the middle of their fight, Dream logged on.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Wait till
Dream,
the
Never
father
good.
gets
the
home.
creator of the world, and so far the only one to stop Tommy's fits of destruction, had had enough. He had created the server to be a place to escape conflict, to work together, to create, and to have fun. And war had no place there. After watching the server begin to spiral into chaos, Dream decided to step in and stop the fighting. But he quickly discovered he was very undergeared, and within seconds, Tommy and
And he never made
Sapnap
that mistake
had
again.
killed him as well. The fighting escalated once again, and soon nearly the entire server was involved in the conflict. Together, Sapnap and Tommy wiped out everyone standing in their way, even forcing Dream to log out temporarily. That was until something happened that turned the tides of the battle. Dream had stolen Tommy's most prized possessions on the server, his music discs. Tommy
Very
had
important.
spent hours finding these discs and was not about to let that time go to waste. He had to get them back. Because Tommy and Sapnap were allies, Sapnap decided to help Tommy
Music
steal
discs?
the
Yeah.
discs back from Dream.
Oh, yeah.
Never heard of it.
Oh, yeah.
Dream then
Yeah.
joined the call and told Tommy that because he had proven to be untrustworthy, he would not be getting his discs back. And if he decided to start any conflict again, the discs would be burned.
Ooh.
While this was happening, Sapnap began looking for where Dream had hidden the discs. And a few minutes later, he found one. Running from Dream, who followed close behind, Sapnap passed the disc to Tommy, who then ran to his base, entered his mine, and hid the disc in a ravine. With Dream close behind, Tommy then faked hiding the disc in a completely different part of the ravine, distracting him long enough for Tommy to come up with a plan.
It was the smartest thing he ever did on the
The
server.
plan
Yeah.
that would get his other music disc back from Dream and win him the first battle. But him and Sapnap couldn't do it alone. They needed someone else. And Tommy knew just the guy for the job.
Couldn't he just get a Spotify subscription?
Tubbo and Tommy had been friends since the beginning. They
I
met
mean,
when
you know.
Tubbo had been streaming on 0 viewers for almost a year, and Tommy rated him with 20. Later on Discord,
Yeah.
the two started
Yeah.
talking, and before long, they began streaming together. Throughout the Hypixel Skyblock phase and SMP Earth, Tubbo was there, scamming, fighting, and laughing his way to victory alongside Tommy.
This is like 2000?
Tubbo was a wholesome
2000
presence
like
in
the year
contrast to
2000?
Tommy, and
Sorry,
preserved the
2020.
lightheartedness found
This
in
was
the early days of the
1995,
server.
actually. You know?
Yeah.
Joining just a few days after
Something like
Tommy,
that. Yeah, it was
Tubbo
like
quickly established himself as a
20
force
I
of good.
Don't get mad at me if I'm wrong.
Despite
but
them
like
being
20
nearly opposites,
somewhere in the
two
2018
unlikely
to, like,
friends fought
2020
together
range,
during every
I
battle
think.
in the early days of the SMP. It
I'm
was
not
Tommy and
brushed up on
Tubbo
my
versus the
SMP
world.
Earth timeline.
So when Tommy and Sapnap needed some backup, he knew Tubbo would be there.
Rare footage of Sapnap
Together, the three
fighting
of them
against
plotted
Dream.
to take down Dream and take
Not
back
like he's doing that in
Tommy's
every single
second
manhunt
disc.
ever, but
Tommy's plan was simple. Surround Dream and all three attack him with axes to do the maximum damage possible. He hoped this would give them at least a chance of killing Dream, and since Tommy knew Dream had the disc in his inventory, this was their only chance of getting it back. As the fighting began, things were not looking good. After dying, Tommy and Sapnap brought a bed down to the ravine and set their spawn point nearby. The three then regrouped for one final ambush on Dream. But he found them first. After Sapnap was killed, it was all up to Tommy and Tubbo to finish the job.
as it
Using
always
gravel
is.
as a blockade, the two began to chip away at Dream's health. Tommy got a few good hits before falling to Dream, leaving it all up to Tubbo. And as Dream was retreating to heal, Tubbo chased him down, managing to kill him. They had done it. Together, the team had managed to take down the most powerful man on the server, and Tommy's most prized possessions were back in his hands. After a quick celebration, Tommy decided it would be best to hide the discs in the chest off camera so Dream couldn't steal them when he was offline. But he quickly realized that Dream would not give up that easily. Sure, Tommy had won the battle, but the war was far from over. A few days after Tommy joined the SMP, Tubbo was not the only new member to be added. 3 more of their friends, Purpled, Fundy, and Puns, were whitelisted as well. The SMP was now beginning to flourish. New players meant new development, and from this point forward, the server really started to take shape. The first major build was Purpled's UFO. Lying fairly close to the community house in the same direction as Tommy's base, the UFO was one of the better looking builds for quite a while. A socializing club was also constructed for resolving an issue that later arose between Fundy, Purpled, and Tubbo.
And for socializing.
Finally, both Fundy and Dream created secret bases underground. These new builds, along with the arising storyline of the Disc Saga and other conflicts on the server, helped the Dream SMP quickly gain popularity on YouTube and Twitch.
Yeah, and every build that's on the server so far is still there today, actually.
So did it in the battle for the discs. On July 10th, one day after his previous battle with Dream, Tommy logged on to the SMP, only to see that Dream had torn apart all of the land surrounding his base looking for the discs. And he found them. He was able to do this because when Tommy was hiding the discs off camera, he left his game sounds on. This allowed Dream to get an idea of where he had hidden them based on analyzing when he took fall damage and what blocks he mined before placing the chest. The discs had been lost once again, and this time, Dream would not let them back so easily. Tommy's first plan was to bargain with Dream, but that quickly went downhill when Tubbo pointed out that the only thing Tommy had of value was his netherite chestplate.
Man trying so hard.
After their genius idea of setting an ultimatum was shut down by Dream walking out of the building, Dream threatened to burn Tommy's discs if he didn't give him the netherite chestplate within 20 minutes. This left only one reasonable solution. One way for Tommy to get his discs back once and for all. Him and Tubbo would try and portal trap Dream and kill him with beds. Why did they actually think that would work? He literally just said he doesn't have the discs in his inventory. This plan was absolutely foolproof. There was no way it wouldn't work. Oh, okay.
Well, there was
knowing Dream knew their plan.
It would have
Tommy
worked.
And Tubbo
They
were
forgot
sure
he's not
he
an
had trapped
idiot.
the portal on the other side. Lucky for Tommy, he had ender pearls and was able to escape. Tubbo, on the other hand, was slain by Dream. And somehow, Tommy died as well. Their plan was not going too well. They had already both died and had made no more progress towards recovering the discs. They then met peacefully with Dream, who decided to give Tommy one last chance to trade his chestplate for the discs.
It's a miracle he hasn't burned
Tommy
them.
convinced Dream to give him 10 more minutes to think about it, buying him time to think of another plan. This time, Tommy's plan was different. It was literally the exact same plan. After yet another failed negotiation, an opportunity arose for one of the discs to be stolen. Dream, after taking out both Tommy and Tubbo multiple times, was feeling very confident. Because of this, he decided it would be funny to taunt them by playing the disc. But Tommy and Tubbo were ready. After playing it again higher up so they couldn't steal it, Dream began to build a blockade next to the jukebox. But Tubbo managed to slip through, ejecting the disc from the jukebox and taking it. He ran for his life. But eventually Dream killed both of them and took it back again. In the words of Tommy, they had a glimpse at freedom. But the battle continued. Building higher and higher, Dream
This was
continued to
crazy.
taunt Tommy with his discs, holding them just out of reach. Until Dream was distracted by Tubbo, allowing Tommy to drop in from above and steal the disc back. Knowing it wouldn't be safe in the skies, Tommy dropped the disc down to Tubbo. However, Tubbo was not able to find it before Dream realized what happened
It's a bee.
and took back the
Oh,
disc
the structure?
once again.
It looks like a skyscraper.
Twice now, the two
not sure I
have been
missed it.
incredibly close to victory,
It might
only
be
to have
Punz's
the
house.
disc slip away at the
He has
last
a giant
second.
tower in the background.
The fighting continued, but ultimately led nowhere. And so, Tommy and Tubbo decided to take the trade. Tommy's netherite chestplate for the discs.
Oh,
As
that?
they prepared for the trade, Tommy thought back to the days of Skyblock.
I'm not sure. That was
He
just
was
a...
the king of
yeah.
scamming. Surely there was a way to beat Dream. Take back the discs while keeping his chestplate as well. Then, he remembered Tubbo, who had been by his side the entire time. They both knew exactly what to do. As Dream dropped the discs, and Tommy dropped the chestplate, Tubbo made a break for the discs. By the time Dream realized what was happening, it was too late. Tubbo had grabbed both of the discs and logged out. It was a race for the chestplate. But Tommy won, managing to disconnect after picking it up. All that was left was Dream. Alone in the ruins of a battle he'd thought he'd won, with nothing.
He got played.
Or so they thought. Unbeknownst to Tommy and Tubbo, Dream had not dropped the real discs. The ones he traded were fakes.
They got played.
The finale of the disc saga took place the next day. As Tommy logged on, still holding the netherite chestplate, he looked around for a bit, then went to find Tubbo. But Tubbo had his own problems to deal with. After conflict arose between Fundy, Purpled, and Tubbo, they decided to settle their affairs in the socializing club. During their conversation, Tommy burst through the door asking for Tubbo's help to finish the war. But
They need to
war would have
socialize,
to
so they
wait,
went to the socializing club.
as in the socializing club there are no weapons and no fighting allowed for any reason. So they moved outside. After that encounter, Tommy and Tubbo moved forward with their plan to find the discs. And Tommy knew exactly how they would do it. He believed that the discs were hidden in Dream's secret base, but he had no idea
Not
where
so
it
secret,
was.
I guess.
So with Tubbo's help, Tommy would use an exploit to see through walls and find it.
Tubbo is such a
The
nice
plan worked, and within minutes, they had
So
broken
much energy.
into the base. But
Somehow
once
he just
again, this
keeps getting
wouldn't be the
sucked into Tommy's
discs
conflicts with
weren't
Dream.
Confused, Tommy and Tubbo asked around to see if anyone knew where the discs were. But they were out of luck. Until Dream logged on to the server. After some more negotiation, including a stack of diamonds the two had stolen from Dream, they once again agreed to trade the netherite chestplate for the discs. This time,
They're like,
there was no scamming.
they stole from him and
Just
they're
like
like, yeah,
that,
we'll give you this.
The music discs
if you give
were
us
back
that.
in the hands of Tommy.
So like,
Together,
You got him.
Tommy and Tubbo had won the war.
look at
And
the
to celebrate,
dancing.
the two
They're
sat on a bench near
dancing.
Tommy's house and listened to one of the discs. Overlooking the land, they thought about what they'd accomplished.
Remember that bench.
Until a sudden realization hit. They had gotten the discs before. But it didn't matter. Anyone could take them at any time. There was only one safe place on the entire server that left no chance of anyone stealing the discs. An ender chest. But as far as they knew, no ender chests had been made yet. So the two would have to quickly gather the
know what an ender
materials
chest
and
does?
make their own before
Nope.
someone tried to steal
All right,
the discs.
can we pause it for a second? Brief Minecraft lesson.
Yes.
Okay, so imagine like an ender chest is like a personal bank vault.
Yep.
And your account accessing the ender chest is like a key. So whenever you open the ender chest, whichever account you are on, it's like a personal chest. So if I open the ender chest and I put, say, I don't know, 2 music discs inside of it, and then Dream goes and opens the ender chest, he's going to see whatever he has in there, not what I have in there. I am the only one that can reach in there and take out the discs. And so that's why it's the only safe place on the server, because right now, if he just holds the discs, Dream can just hit him twice with a netherite axe and take his discs back. And then all of a sudden, Dream wins again. Right. But if Tommy can find a way to get an ender chest and put the discs in there, then there's nothing Dream can do to take them back.
So really the whole thing is kind of a cautionary tale about the dangers of materialism.
In a way, yeah. I think they had that planned from the very beginning. I think that was the lesson that they were trying to go for in creating this story about the discs. I think you nailed it.
Right on.
All right, shall we continue?
If you don't know, an ender chest is crafted with an eye of ender surrounded by obsidian blocks.
See,
So all in all, they would need 8 obsidian, 1 blaze powder, and 1 ender pearl. They started by asking around for blaze rods. After Fundy wasn't interested, they went to talk to Puns, who, despite having his lawn griefed by the build battle the day before, and Tommy stealing some golden apples, agreed to supply them with a blaze rod and an ender pearl in exchange for an
playback
apple.
is in black and white. Is that
But as Tommy got the apple and began making his way to Puns, Dream began to attack.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Upon hearing their plans to seal the discs away in an ender chest, Dream knew if he wanted to stay in control, he had to stop them.
They were so happy.
Tommy quickly traded for the blaze rod and pearl, immediately running away as Dream began his pursuit.
Puns kind of scammed himself.
Tommy and Tubbo had to think of a plan, and quick. Dream is no stranger to chases, and Tommy knew he was living on borrowed time.
Not a guy you want to be in a chase with.
Still needing 8 obsidian to craft the chest,
kind of
Tommy had an idea.
Not really.
If Tubbo could distract Dream for just a minute or two, Tommy could rush over to the community nether portal and break enough obsidian to craft the chest.
How do you distract
As Tommy made his way to the portal and began mining,
what are we doing?
Tubbo followed Dream, telling Tommy exactly where they were.
Distract someone. I don't know.
2.
Be annoying to them.
3.
Punch them.
Tommy had almost gotten half the obsidian they needed when Dream started shooting at him from a nearby watchtower.
He tried.
Barely alive with 1 heart, just a single arrow could end the dream of securing the discs. Tubbo made his way to Tommy, covering him and supplying food. 4, 5. Dream made his way to the portal.
3 left.
Tubbo only managing to stall a few seconds. The 2 ran, taking refuge in the community house and blocking off the doors. Tubbo stayed on the ground floor, sacrificing his life and buying Tommy just enough time to escape from the roof. 6, 7. They were so close. All that stood between them and freedom was a green man and a single piece of obsidian. Dream chased Tommy.
Interesting combo.
A relentless storm of arrows following Tommy's every step. He couldn't do it. If he stops running, Dream kills him. If he keeps running for long, he loses his sprint and Dream kills him. There was nothing Tommy could do. But he didn't have to do anything. He had Tubbo. Tubbo remembered he had a piece of obsidian at his house and ran there immediately. Now, Tommy was the one stalling. As Tubbo grabbed the obsidian, he went out back and saw Tommy loop around towards the back of his house. Tubbo then dropped the obsidian, as well as some food, and stalled Dream just long enough for Tommy to craft the ender chest and lock away the discs for good.
And the fake
Together,
ones.
against all odds, the 2 friends managed to save Tommy's most prized possessions from the wrath of Dream. With this, the disc saga was over.
Doing that for you.
At least for now. And the server was at peace once again. The next 2 weeks would be the most peaceful the server had ever seen since Tommy joined. With the end of the first major war, it seemed everyone needed a break from the chaos. But soon, a new player would be added to the SMP. A player that would completely change the nature of the server. A storyteller. A mastermind of words. his ideas growing to define the server and made the story something people would remember. And July 24th, just 20 days after Tommy joined, one moment changed the course of the server forever.
And that's all I have done for today. That's all we got.
Wilbur!
And that's it.
Wilbur!
Wilbur was, really, he was kind of the catalyst that kicked off the whole thing. As you could probably tell, that was a lot of just improvisation. They were just kind of like, Tommy was like, they just made these things up. Can we pause it for a
Following the
second?
events of the first war in the Dream SMP.
Perfect. All right. Wilbur was kind of the guy that, he saw what, we'll get into it, but,
Yes.
As you can see, the first little bit was a lot of just messing around on stream, improvisation. They never even intended it to be an SMP at the first stream. It was just Dream and George messing around in a random world.
Right. It feels like the whole thing kind of just happened sort of organically, that there wasn't any long-term plan. It just sort of grew into something as people were added.
Exactly. People just joined, had ideas for stuff to build, stuff to do. All of the first wars were just one guy blows up a part of another guy's house. That guy goes and blows up the other guy's full house. The other guy declares war on him and his family. And it just, that's exactly how it worked. And then all of the entire server gets into one crazy fight.
So the thing you said, thank you, Jacob. The thing you said somewhere like, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes ago, where it was like, Dream had created this place as a way to get away from conflict. The thought that I immediately had was like, well, why did he let anyone else in? The way to get away from conflict is to have a space with one person in it.
Yeah, there is a trade-off though, right? Because what's worse, conflict or loneliness?
Absolutely, conflict is part of life.
Yeah,
and we can't shy away from it. We shouldn't try to create it. We should try to avoid creating it. But at the same time, people have different interests, and you have to advocate for yourself in life.
Yeah, some people are just interested in creating chaos, like Tommy did at the beginning of the server. I love how we're deeply psychoanalyzing the beginning of the Dream SMP. That's why we're here.
That's
exactly why we're here. This is the content that we intended on.
Dr. Evan.
Dr. Evan and Dr. Technodad.
Dr. Technodad.
Here to analyze the.
I should try to grab that domain and username as well, Dr. Technodad, because maybe I'm going to go back to graduate school.
Hey,
could happen.
There you go. So what did you think? So what do you think so far of the story? What you've seen?
It's fun. It's entertaining. Honestly, I was very pleased with how well I could follow everything that was going on and that you were talking about it, despite not knowing what an ender chest is and so forth. I've made the point on a few occasions that it's one thing about Minecraft is that it seems like about 80% of the blocks are brown. And
wood, dirt.
Yeah, they're like a medium brown, and there's 25 different block types that you have to crucially distinguish between them.
That would be the wood.
Somehow they're all brown.
Yep.
And so yes, I was a little worried that I might not be able to follow some things, but it was perfectly comprehensible, and it shows a lot of promise on its way to becoming gripping. There were moments of real drama.
Yeah, and that's kind of the crazy part is, as you progress through the story, it becomes more and more refined, and actually intentional versus just random fights on stream.
Yes.
Which don't get me wrong, those first episodes were extremely entertaining. I watched those first 4 Tommy videos that he made on the server, and that's what started it for me. You know, right after he uploaded them, I saw all of them, and I was like, man, this is awesome. And then, you know, it kind of progressed on and grew into something that, you know, I don't think anyone saw coming, at least not initially. But yeah, all right. Are we ready to?
I was going to ask, how in those early videos, how funny was he? Because that's one of the things about Tommy that really stands out, is that guy is just naturally hilarious.
Yeah. So, I mean, back then, like, it's crazy seeing his growth over the entire story. But back then, literally one of my favorite videos of all time is his first video on the Dream SMP. I feel like I am laughing every second of that video. It is, anyone who's seen that video, I don't even know. It was hilarious. It was some of his best work, in my opinion. But, I mean, yeah, Tommy's a talented guy. He's a very talented guy. So, you know, he continues to get better as well, you know.
That's awesome. I'm going to take a 2-minute break and leave the weight of entertaining all these people to you for that time.
Okay.
So I'm just going to pull my headphone off, and I'm going to leave my microphone
and
behind.
the mic? That's bold.
I'm leaving the microphone behind.
Maybe
Does everyone know why? Does everyone know why? It's a classic blunder. Never get involved in a land war in Asia, and don't take the wireless mic with you on your 2-minute break.
On your 2-minute break to who knows where?
Probably. I'm probably more push-ups, I think.
Oh yeah, no, you have like an hourly quota for push-ups that you have to hit. And you just barely hit it last time, but Floof is like ready to go. Oh, apparently very ready to go. Hello chat, how are we doing? Floof support, yes.
Turn down alerts so that they can see their name and likes for less money now.
Okay. Thank you so much, Wolfen, for becoming a channel member. Very much appreciated. Remember, guys, subscribe to Technoblade. There's a lot more content coming soon. This is sort of the intro stream. Lucky, you know, I was lucky enough to be able to provide some good background information on the Dream SMP to TechnoDad so that he can be prepared to watch the Technoblade live streams live with all of you very soon. Do they know about what's coming up? Is that public information yet?
It is not public yet, but you can make it public now.
Are you sure I can make it public now?
He's left the room, go for it.
Well, that doesn't seem like the best reason, but like...
We could leave chat on.
Okay, okay.
Wait.
Yeah, I don't know, chat. Should I...
$1 alerts to see your name and likes, except there's a delay. So
Okay, yeah, to see your name in about 5 minutes. It's like an investment, you know. He's back. Don't tell him what I said. That was actually probably 2 minutes, honestly.
Which is so many jokes I could make here, and I'm just going to pass.
They all want to know what's happening soon. As I think.
Put my mic.
Your mic? Oh, I stole it. I was gonna give it to Floof, and then he left.
That is a great idea. Okay, Floof is on.
I think we need to resolve this for chat, though.
Floof is on a hot mic. What are we resolving?
What's happening soon?
As in
terms of this series, as in.
what's happening tomorrow at 10 a.m.?
What are we doing tomorrow at 10 a.m.? So tomorrow at 10 a.m., we're going to watch okay, so you guys have to tell me if I got this right. It's this stream that marks the first appearance of Technoblade in the Dream SMP. Is
correct.
that right?
Yep. It's Tommy's VOD. of Tommy's perspective of Technoblade joining the server for the first time.
Right.
Which is actually where we're going to leave off on my videos today, is we're going to watch the second one and then half of the third one until Technoblade gets introduced into the story. And then he will jump over and watch Tommy's perspective. Do you want to tell them the other part of that?
So joining us on the stream tomorrow will be the man himself, Tommy. So he's going to be not in the seat because he does live 8,000 miles away from me, but which is weird. It's like he's in an entire different country, and it's like they even speak a language very similar to the one that we speak.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I can't understand half of the things Tommy says. It's a joke.
Okay, there was an inexplicable gesture. Jade has become a channel member. Is that, what am I doing?
You missed a $10 donation.
Oh, I apologize. I missed a $10 donation. I get so in my own head, you know what I mean? Okay, I just want to tell you guys a little story because this is just behind the scenes stuff.
Okay.
So here I am in the studio. This is like pretty much almost everything you've seen me do, I've done like in this room, with you know, seating as appropriate for whatever I was doing. But we got the theatrical lights and we've got all the equipment running and everything else.
It's a great setup.
It gets hot in here.
Oh yeah.
It gets hot in here. And so there is a absolutely gigantic air conditioning unit on the roof to cool this place down.
Yep.
And it's really, really powerful. And there's an enormous system of ducts that run across the roof and through the building. JP 3001, yay. And so on my list of most hated equipment in the studio, it used to be that door right over there.
That door specifically.
That door specifically. Not to match the door. There's another door in the other studio that exactly matches this one. This door, I'll save that story about that door for another time.
Okay.
But my second
Hey, you
most
can't give it
hated-
all away right now.
And this door's been completely reformed. We tore it apart and added like 500 screws to it so it would stop doing that stupid thing that
It
it kept
apologized for everything it did to you.
doing. Yeah, I don't know. Does anybody care about this? I'm
Guys,
talking
friends
about
now?
a door that's off camera. The air conditioner, which is like 20 feet long, it's a big air conditioner. And today, it refuses to work. I swear that thing can sense when we have something important going on because that's when it decides to break.
Yes, chat, we're talking about a door.
Well, not anymore.
Well, not
Now we're
anymore.
talking
No, they're
about air
spamming
conditioning.
door though.
What's that?
You said door, and chat is just spamming door.
Door.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when I say door, I should tell you that this door is 12 feet tall and weighs 3,000 pounds and is made of fused steel panels. And when it's open, like the reason we have a door like that is if you want to shoot a car commercial in here, which we have done infrequently,
Hey.
but we have done, you open the door and you drive the car in and then you shoot a car commercial or whatever else you need to do. I actually hid out from a problematic girlfriend one time.
That's crazy.
By opening the door and bringing the car in, so there would be no way that she could know where I was. I wasn't at home, and she could, she like if she was going to do a drive-by and look for my car, it's like it's not there. You can't see it. It's so it's very versatile to have a door that size.
Techno door.
And it's also, that door is also, the reason we have the door is because this is a soundstage, and if there's noise, somebody did something. Be scandalous.
Thank you
Big
for the super
donation.
chat.
Thank you. The reason you want to have a door like that in a soundstage is so that it keeps the noise out while still letting the trucks in when you need to. And when we went to get that, when we went to order these doors from the manufacturer, which is somewhere in the Midwest,
Somewhere in the indoor world.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the door universe somewhere.
So I think they do like a lot of industrial doors for like military bases, because when we were talking to them and putting in the order, they were saying like, so does this door like, do you just want it resistant to like small arms fire, or is it going to need to be able to withstand like larger caliber rounds?
Wow.
And it was like acoustic only is all we care about. So the point is, the air conditioner's not working, and
We're roasting over here, but we're okay, you know.
so what we did, the whole point of the design is you want to have like these acoustic doors separating you from the rest of the building. So we have those doors wide open, and then the air conditioning in the office area is on high, and then there's a fan blowing in one of the doors and blowing out the other door. So,
They're spamming door lore right now.
door lore, yes.
I was laughing the whole time about that. Oh, that's incredible. Door lore.
I could
Just wait till we get to the door saga of the Dream SMP. You'll be very surprised. You know.
I could talk for a long time about the many different
The many different
pieces.
First
First of all, the many different doors we have. So those doors are 1,000 pounds.
Oh my God! Here we
The big one is 3,000 pounds. But you haven't opened it. I should let you open and close it sometimes. It's a 1,000-pound door.
Wow.
It's like the size of the door to your bedroom. And we had a whole team of people to hang the door when it was going in. Thank you, Bon Bon. All right, I think I've wasted everyone's time enough.
Wow. Yeah. Hey, very insightful information. If anyone's going door shopping.
Yes.
Soon.
If you're ever building, actually, I do have one really important piece of advice for anyone who is considering building a soundstage. And my piece of advice is, don't do that. You don't want to do that.
You'll be competing with this guy, which is a bad idea.
You might think you want to do that, but trust me, you don't want to do that. This is not this. If I knew then what I knew now. Okay, but it is cool. I mean,
I can confirm it is pretty
is cool.
Yeah.
Tension between Dream
All right, here we go.
and Tubbo.
just play it.
Having been the only people to stand
here
up
we
to
go.
Dream, Tommy and Tubbo were not exactly friends with the most powerful man on the server. But they couldn't fight back. They didn't have the resources, the people, or the will to start another battle. Until a new player joined, who would change everything. Today, I will tell a story. A story of independence. A story of a people who rose up against tyranny. A story of revolution.
This is where it begins.
Is part 2 of the story of the Dream SMP. Really quick, this video took weeks to make, so if you could take
Man, it's
1
so funny.
second to subscribe.
I say it took
is
weeks to
completely
make. Now they
free
take
and it would
months to
my
make.
day. Thank you. Also, thanks again to Lord
keep
Cantor for
raising the
letting me use his
standard.
recreation of the Dream SMP for this video.
Jen Freeman.
Make sure to go check out his channel if you're interested in seeing how he did it. Again, the link is in the description. Anyway, let's start from the beginning. Wilbur Soot.
Wilbur!
Songwriter,
There he is.
Yes!
genius, and visionary.
Your new boyfriend.
Coming up with some of
Yep.
the most influential ideas in recent Minecraft history, Wilbur is a mastermind of virality. Creating his first video
Virality.
on March 29th,
I
checked if that was a
2019,
word when I
and
wrote
using
the
his
script, and it is in
experience
fact a
from his
word.
time with the channel Soot House, Wilbur, in just under 2 years, has amassed
The
over
act of going
3
viral.
million subscribers. So when it was announced that he would be joining the Dream SMP, people knew things would change. But no one expected how much it really would. Being a genius of words and stories, Wilbur brought something to the table that no one had really considered. Tommy had had a rough idea of how the disc saga would go, but for the next story, Wilbur would take it a step further. The introduction of Wilbur marked a turning point in the SMP, from a jumbled mess of conflict to something more. From this point on, the story of the SMP would be planned out, for the most part, before it happened.
Dream was
Scripted
blown up.
improvisation. And Wilbur,
That's how you know
the
it
main
wasn't
writer,
part of the plan.
began his story the day he logged on. This marked the true beginning of the storyline of the Dream SMP.
So was Wilbur the one who introduced the
Wilbur
idea
saw an
of
opportunity
Sort
in
of.
the Dream SMP.
this stuff, or was he the one who?
Not
kinda
an
took
opportunity
charge
for power,
of
or an opportunity
some of
for
the
war,
planning behind
but an
it,
opportunity
especially in this
for
kind of
business.
saga.
And on July
Pure clean
24th,
vibes.
he
That's
logged
a
on to the
username.
SMP and began moving forward. He started by building a caravan, Camar van, the base of operations.
Legend has
for
it.
his
I'm still
business.
trying to learn how to pronounce that
After
to this
this,
day.
he went to recruit his first business partner,
Theta.
TommyInnit. He then explained his master plan for their business. After tricking the rest of the SMP members into giving up all of their blaze rods and brewing stands, Tommy and Wilbur would be able to produce all of the potions on the server, profiting from the newfound rarity of these potions.
Is this a
Agreeing without hesitation,
Breaking Bad kind
Tommy
of
joined
storyline?
Wilbur.
Can you pause
and
it for a
together,
second?
They began sweeping the server.
Yes, it is. I was gonna mention this as it came up, but this video is heavily this saga of the series is heavily inspired by Breaking Bad and Hamilton, the musical.
Hamilton.
Yeah, they in the video they actually in the videos that they made, you can there's times where they've like made plenty of Hamilton references.
Yeah.
And so I say it was based on Hamilton a lot, but by extension based on the American Revolution.
Right.
A lot.
Right.
And you can kind of see that throughout, this. If you pay attention, you can kind of see sort of where it's inspired by both of these. And yeah, you pretty much nailed it. They were essentially going to make a drug van and.
Thank you,
And,
Foxy. So I saw something, and then it looked kind of like a drug van, and I was like,
and
"Is
yes.
that?" I was like, "No, I'm not going to say anything."
No, that's exactly, you were exactly right. That is exactly what it was. So that was their plan was to trick everyone into giving all of their potion making supplies so that they could have a monopoly on making potions. And they would do it out of a van, because why not?
So, part of the reason why I was talking so much about doors earlier is because I am the one who knocks.
Oh, dang, he knew. Guys, he pre-watched all of these. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Hey, Jacob.
This was all planned. Everything that's
actually-
happened in this plan is scripted. We're reading off of the TV screen right now. Yeah. And yes, that is also written in the script for me to say that.
I feel like if this actually were scripted, that joke would have been funnier. I think it was. Technoblade just subscribed. I don't exactly understand. Wow, John.
John, thank you. Oh, that's a test donation.
Dude.
No, it's not. That was the test donation.
Okay, well, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah,
I'm an old guy. You're lucky
All right, shall we continue?
That's when I drop off in the middle is when I have a joke in mind, and then part of my brain goes, "Are you really gonna say that in front of everyone?"
There you go.
No. Hey, Beskin. So I'm the one who knocks. The drug van.
Yep.
I don't know. I feel like I had something else for this, but I'm just gonna.
It'll come to you as we watch. Yeah. You'll get it back.
No paper.
And just blurt it out as soon as you, as soon as it comes to your mind. All right, I think we're good.
I want everyone to notice
Convincing players
who
to give up
floofs.
their brewing stands and blaze
11.
rods.
Thank you.
They
Yellow.
started with Tubbo. Tubbo, who trusted Tommy and Wilbur, fell victim to the scam. giving his brewing stands and water breathing potions.
They got Tubbo.
That being said, not everyone was convinced. One man saw right through their plan. Sapnap. As Tubbo attempted to give up a stack of blaze rods to the new business partners, Sapnap punched Tommy out of the way, taking them for himself. With further suspicion of their operation, Sapnap followed
People are saying to
Tommy and
mute the
Wilbur
alerts.
back to their van,
Oh, okay.
taking it upon himself to investigate. Entering
Man,
the
the
truck,
support is too strong.
Sapnap, against the will of Wilbur and Tommy, began looking around.
He's
And it only
investigating the
took him
drug
a
van.
few seconds to enter the back of the truck and find their brewing stands, thus exposing their plans of scamming the server into giving up all of their potion-making supplies. With their backs against the wall, the duo attempted to enlist the help of Fundy. Their plan to get Fundy on their side was to frame Sapnap as the bad guy. They then proceeded to hide the evidence of their plans from Fundy,
How are we
then
looking?
decided to join them.
I just noticed
After
that,
this,
like, see, like that
Sapnap
picture of
had
Wilbur
had
right there.
Attempting
It's like
to
a grad
arrest
student.
Wilbur and Tommy, Sapnap ended up
Like,
killing
it looks
Tommy.
very airy.
purely
Oh yeah,
for
he's
content.
very sophisticated.
This prompted
Oh,
Tubbo,
he
just closed
who was
the-
on the side
closed
of
the
Sapnap
tab.
after being scammed by Tommy and Wilbur
What?
to reconsider
Chat's saying
his
to mute
position.
alerts.
But although his loyalty to Sapnap wavered, for now,
Just
he
just close the
remained on
tab.
the side of the law. There was nothing the three
Yeah,
could do.
because that's the one that's
Being
sending them
completely
through.
outgeared, Wilbur,
believe, right?
Tommy, and Fundy retreated to the van. And right as they thought things couldn't get any worse, they did. As it turns out, Tommy had some unfinished business with Punk, having stolen from him once again.
Unprovoked.
And as
Just
the
robbed
team
him.
retreated to the van, Purpled and Punk came to confront Tommy. Things were not looking good for the new business.
Of course, Tommy's in
and
the
if
right
the
here.
team wanted a chance to
Having
escape,
robbed
they
Punk.
had to think of something fast. And quickly, a
It
plan
seems like
began
Tommy's kind
to
of an
form.
instigator, though.
Wilbur walked out of the van,
It seems like- it does seem like
Purpled
that,
and
doesn't
Punk just long enough for Tommy to escape through the floor of the van into a cave. Shortly after,
He's
the
on
two
the run
noticed and began
from
to
the
pursue
police.
him. Wilbur, confronted only by Tubbo, logged out of the game to buy some more time. Lastly, Fundy stayed in the caravan, along with Tubbo and Eric, another member of the SMP who had recently joined. The guards stood,
Eric.
awaiting Wilbur to rejoin. Meanwhile, the pursuit of Tommy continued, and before long, they had found him.
Uh-oh.
Surrounded, Tommy surrendered, being escorted to jail on half a heart. With the news of Tommy being captured,
He's going
one
to
of
prison.
the guards, Tubbo, began escorting Fundy to jail as well for conspiring to help Wilbur and Tommy. All that remained in the van was Eric, the final guard standing between Wilbur and freedom. But in a surprising turn of events, Eric betrayed the other guards, choosing to help the enemy instead. And just like that, Eric was an ally of the business. Knowing he was safe,
how
Wilbur
he got
logged
in.
back in and conspired with Eric to free Fundy and Tommy. Their plan to free Fundy was easy as he was still being escorted by Tubbo. Eric would convince Tubbo to let him finish the escorting of Fundy to court, where he would then bring Fundy to his house, allowing him to plant Wilbur the ingredients for an invisibility potion. And the plan would have worked. But when Fundy and Eric reached Fundy's house, Purpled was there. Little did they know he had been spying on them in their voice call the whole time and knew Eric had betrayed them. He then quickly informed Sapnap of the news and requested him to come to Fundy's base as backup. While Sapnap was leaving for Fundy's base,
Classic
he left
Eric
Punk
playing both
in charge
sides.
of watching Tommy. As the two sat in the courthouse, they began to talk. And before long, Tommy had convinced Punk to help him escape. Tommy's
Are
plan
the
was to
alerts still
have
coming
Punk
through?
draw the guards back to the courthouse and
that
escape
again?
through a hole he
Or
dug
that's
in the
what's
back
going
of his cell. This was perfect timing for Sapnap and Purpled, as Sapnap had just arrived at Fundy's base and the two guards began escorting Fundy and Eric to court. Tubbo, meanwhile, traveled
Dream
back to
SMP
the
is now
van
court
to
drama.
keep an eye on Wilbur. After Wilbur transformed the van from the potion brewing station it was to a hot dog van, Tubbo, with Wilbur's permission, investigated. Finding nothing out of the ordinary, Tubbo provided compensation of 10 gold for the disturbances they had caused earlier. And gold was one of the main materials he needed to make the invisibility potion. The plan was beginning to fall into place. Although it had hit some rough patches, there was still a solid chance of the prisoners escaping. And as the guards escorted Fundy and Eric back to court, Wilbur continued gathering the resources for the potions. Before long, the trial had started and they were running out of time to escape. Ponk had been figured out and was thrown in jail with Tommy, and Purple went off looking for Wilbur, who had just began brewing. With Purple gone and Wilbur about to be compromised, all 4 of the prisoners dug out of their cells and ran. Everyone was on the run. After some fighting, everyone decided it would be best to meet back at the van. And as they were coming back, Tubbo and Wilbur began to talk. After explaining his plans to Tubbo and talking of the injustice they had done to him and his accomplices, Tubbo decided to join his side. And just like that, with everyone safe in the van and a new member on their side, the businessmen had been through enough.
There's the squad.
They knew that the next time they logged on, they had to fight back. And Wilbur had an idea. One that would send the server into further chaos and begin one of the most famous stories on the SMP. The team would no longer be businessmen. They would be citizens of a new nation. They would begin a revolution.
Yup. And so it begins.
1 week passed before their country was officially born. In that week, as well as the time before Wilbur joined, a lot had changed on the server. New players and new builds.
Skeppy.
During the time
Skeppy.
of peace after
Yep.
the first war, 2 new players joined the server. These players were Skeppy and Eric. For the most part, Skeppy did not play a major role in the story other than burning a new disc Tommy had gathered after the first war. Eric, on the other hand,
Skeppy was just doing his
and
own
would play
thing,
a major
vibing
role
on the server.
in the new nation of Lemannburg.
Yeah.
At least for a little while.
Hanging out with Bad Boy
The
Halo.
new builds included a sewer system that led to many areas of the server, Eric's castle, which eventually housed the throne for whoever held the title of King of the Dream SMP, a jungle base built far away by Tubbo, and a few new towers here and there. Bit by bit, development continued on the server, until the day Lemannburg was born. This day marked the beginning of a new era in the Dream SMP, an era of independence. 3 days.
I'm not
That's
sure.
how long the war would last.
Let's pause it for a second.
In 3 days, the fate of their nation would be decided.
All right, what?
I'm trying to remember. It's been a long time since I was in school, but was there some role in the American Revolution that was played by a drug van?
I'm sure at some point. Well, it might have been like a horse and carriage situation.
A drug buggy. I think
the drug wagon.
A drug wagon.
Drug wagon.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Like a covered, horse-drawn thing with like wooden wagon wheels, and then just like filled with drugs.
Yeah. I mean, how else do you think we won? Like.
Yeah.
How else do you think we were able to overwhelm the British army? They thought they were having normal food, but little did they know they got it from the drug wagon.
Yeah. This is not an endorsement of drug use in any way.
Do not.
On
No. Do
Kids,
not do.
Stay in school.
I can't believe we have to say that, but
do not do the drugs. That never ends well. It does not end well. So you know, we should probably start the video again.
And the wills of the men and Tommy, who created it, would be tested
The men
beyond
and
their
Tommy.
limits. But before they could begin a revolution,
What was it,
their
like
great
11
nation
at this point?
needed
It's
a
something
name.
like that.
And Tommy had just the idea.
I've had the idea.
Oh, I have a lot
Oh
of
my god.
Manberg, or alternatively, Mantopia.
I like Mantopia.
Yeah?
How do we
Mantopia.
make it European? Le Manberg.
Le Manberg. Yeah, that's
Manberg.
funny. Le Manberg. Where do you live? I live in the state of Le Manberg.
After the name was decided, the fellow citizens began
That was-
to build a wall.
that was
to
where it came
distinguish
from,
their
right
land
That was
there.
exactly
from
where it
Dream
came from.
SMP.
And
In their new nation,
still have the
anyone
van.
would be allowed to
Yep.
make potions without being arrested, and the tyranny of Dream and his fellow Americans would no longer affect them. This was the dream. And along with Wilbur, Tommy, and Tubbo, Fundy and Eric joined the new nation. Upon hearing the news of revolution brewing on the server, Dream went to confront the members of Lamamberg. This time, they didn't hide anything. The team explained that everything inside the walls was their land and would be governed and cared for by them, separately and under no rule of the greater Dream SMP. Included would be Tommy's Hill House, which would remain property of their nation as the Lamamberg Embassy.
And it, like all the
Dream,
Brits are
however,
dressing
was
like
not
Revolutionary
convinced
War
and left to
Americans.
conspire with his friends about what to do. Before long, Dream began bribing Tommy to leave Lamamberg and rejoin the greater Dream SMP. But he would have to do better than that if he wanted someone to turn. That being said, Wilbur still questioned Tommy's devotion to the cause.
All you've done for this nation is you're one of the faces of it, right?
Thank you.
They
But
rebranded
you
to a
need to
hot dog
understand
van.
that you've done very little in terms of setup. I mean, look behind you. Look at Eric working hard.
As the two continued to talk,
It's a little more
Wilbur still questioned
marketable.
whether Tommy was truly devoted to the revolution
For their-
or just
their-
there
for
to
their
be
cause.
a face of the nation. And after they reached an agreement, Phase 2 of Wilbur's plan began to take shape.
The iconic revolution outfits.
Right.
But then, Tommy noticed something out of place. After alerting the rest of the squad about
He
what was
noticed.
happening, Tommy saw It's Alyssa walking away from the fire. She had taken it too far,
Smoking gun.
and as the
Yep.
team chased her down, she logged out to escape death. The team camped where she disconnected. Wilbur convinced Tommy to take off his armor and use his words, as he would not let their new
Chat is
nation of
spamming
Lamamberg
arson.
become the very thing he sought to destroy. Upon Alyssa rejoining, she began to run and Tommy killed her anyway. For Wilbur, this was the final straw, and when they all got back to Lamamberg, he temporarily dismissed Tommy, making him go back to his home in the greater Dream SMP. But then, word got out that Tubbo was being held hostage by Dream, Sapnap, and Puns. Tommy knew if there was any time to regain Wilbur's trust, it was now. By saving Tubbo, he could finally be the hero for Lamamberg he had always wanted to be. But they took him hostage as well. After Tubbo revealed that he had invisibility potions, Dream and Sapnap decided they could not risk them escaping with their stuff and killed both of them. With this, Wilbur knew it was time. Time to make their revolution official. To free themselves of the tyranny and the aggression of the greater Dream SMP, and to officially declare their independence. Independence. And after some writing, Wilbur Soot, the leader of the great nation of Lamamberg, had drafted their Declaration of
That's my
Independence.
independence.
Yeah.
Forever, the nation of the Dream SMP have cast great sins upon our great land of the Hata Dog Van.
Yes, he
They
spelled
have
it
robbed us,
HTO.
imprisoned us, threatened us, killed many of our men. This time of tyranny ends with us. This book declares that the nation which shall be henceforth known as Lamamberg is separate, emancipated, and independent from the nation of Dream SMP. the union of the masters of men. Together, we are one. When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one to dissolve the bonds which bind us, disregarding of this truth is nothing short of tyranny. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. The right of the people exists above the right of the king, the right of the government, and the right of the economy. From the Hata Dog van, we shall prevail. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of victory. This document was signed by all members of Lamberg and represented much more than a mere book. These words were what held the nation together, a vow of brotherhood that would only end in independence or death. With the framing of the book, the nation of Lamberg showed itself as a force to be reckoned with. And to Dream, this marked the point of no return. As long as Lamberg stood, Dream knew he couldn't have control. And so, him, George, Sapnap, and Puns drafted another document. The Declaration of War. Unlike the first war for Tommy's discs, this time there was much more at stake.
Everyone's declaring things these days.
This was not just a war for independence, but a war
Last
for
time
power.
it wasn't, but this time it is.
Dream
Yeah.
would stop at nothing to put Lamberg in the ground if it was the last thing he'd do.
Is that foreshadowing? The TNT popping?
I don't
With
know,
the
you tell
reality
me.
of war beginning to set in, both sides
It's not like I
began
made
to
the
prepare.
video or anything.
Off-stream, Tubbo had gathered potions to aid them in the coming battles. Meanwhile, Dream had burned down Tubbo's house. Because Dream was offline, Tommy and Tubbo used this time to attempt to convince the members of the Dream SMP Guard that they were on the wrong side. They began this by tempting Puns with a meaningless title, hoping he'd get excited and betray his friends. Next, Tommy had an idea to tempt Dream. He stated that if Dream refrained from attacking them, he would give up one of the discs. Tommy's most prized possessions on the SMP and the result of a hard-fought war would be put on the line for independence. But as Tommy and Tubbo were leaving Dream's base, their entire army logged on at once.
Sneak
Tubbo
attack.
was gunned down by Dream as Tommy fled to the sewers. All of the potions that Tubbo had gathered were lost upon his death, being burned by Dream. Soon, everyone joined the call and reality began to set in. The Dream SMP army was there, and Lamberg's was not. All Tommy and Tubbo could do was stall them and hope for the best. As Tommy arrived at his house to speak with Dream and his army, he found the entire property laced with TNT. As a final effort, Tommy attempted to convince Dream he was in the wrong, but he would have none of it. The line had already been crossed, damage had been done, and doom was imminent. Dream and his men gave Tommy and the rest of Lamberg 1 day. 1 day to surrender, or everything they owned would be destroyed. And so, as Wilbur received the news, the true preparation for the final battle began.
Tommy and Wilbur and the rest of LeManChildberg, we
LeManChildberg.
are at war.
Do you know what we have that they don't have? We have camaraderie. We have a righteous cause. We have an area to defend.
There is no mercy. We have burnt down Tubbo's house. We have planted TNT cannons around your land. We have cobblestone walled the outside, and we have shot one warning shot inside your walls.
No matter what happens, no matter even if he destroys the very hot dog van that we live out of, until the day we stop breathing, that is when Lamberg has fallen.
And we have no mercy! No mercy for you!
Do you know what he's driven by? Greed. Do you know what we're driven by? The defense of our land.
Do you understand? We will come, we will burn down your houses,
He can destroy the walls.
we will kill everything inside your walls,
He can slaughter our friends, our family.
and we will take back the land that is rightfully ours.
But until the day we stop breathing, the minute we let go of that dream, that's when he has won. Men, are you going to let go of that dream?
I want to see white flags! white flags outside your base by tomorrow at dawn, or you are dead!
Dang. Okay, now it's personal. If it wasn't personal before,
August,
it definitely is now.
That was Dream
the
talking.
day of
Yes, it
reckoning.
was. Yelling.
And as Dream and his army looked to the skies of
Emoting.
Lamberg, no flags flew. Today, there would be war. Before Wilbur logged on, Tommy and Tubbo were attacked. After losing a few useless items, they retreated to Lamberg where they waited for the official start of the war. Then their leader Wilbur joined the server. With Dream and his men camping the cobblestone wall they had built around part of Lamberg, the
intimidating.
revolutionaries retreated to the van and
They saw the
began to
walls and
create
said,
a
we'll
plan
build
of
bigger
action.
ones.
Wilbur emphasized the importance of the element of surprise, as their team was completely outgeared by Dream's army. While they discussed their plan, Dream and his men spread to each wall, surrounding them. Staying true to their peaceful origins, now was not the time to armor up. Using their words, Wilbur and Tommy attempted one final time to resolve things peacefully. But once again, it didn't work. And as the two sides regrouped,
Because why
they
would it work?
prepared for the battle of the ages. The war for independence, and most of all, the war for power. Wilbur decided that it would be a greater benefit for the group if he watched the battle from above. This meant the one leading them into battle would be Tommy. As they began making their way to the battlefield, they took it all in. The final calm before the storm. The last peace. Once the battle began, there would be no rest until someone had won. And having had their moment of peace, both armies moved into position. Let the war begin.
Here we go.
The battle began on Tommy's front lawn. Dream and his men held Tommy's power tower while the Lamberg army stood
Guess
in the
who named
grass.
that? The power tower.
As the enemies stared each other down, they
Tommy.
both waited for the first move to be made. Then, a shot was fired by Dream. But it was nowhere close to the opposition. Confused, everyone thought he missed. But he didn't. This was the first trap of the war and managed to take out Fundy. Immediately, the Lamberg army retreated inside Tommy's house as arrows began to rain down.
Man, his
from
house
above.
cannot catch a break.
Totally undergeared, Tommy crafted a bow and missed the only shot he had. It had been less than a minute since the first shot was fired, and they were already backed into a corner. As Tommy began to retreat, Wilbur pulled everyone
He
back.
threw away his shot.
They had to hold their ground. Placing half slabs on the windows, the men began returning fire. It didn't take long for them to realize that their shots weren't doing much. They needed another plan. Tommy suggested purling on top of the tower and knocking them all off. But Tubbo reminded him that Dream had his end crystals from when they killed him earlier. Fundy, however, had a better idea. Using an invisibility potion, he would sneak up the tower, knocking all of them off and escaping unseen. This would be their next plan of action. But as everyone walked outside to draw fire away from Fundy, they realized the arrows had stopped being fired, and Dream's army was falling back to Ponk's tower. In an attempt to effectively counter their enemy's new position, the Lamberg army traveled to the nearby Punza's tower. This tower stood at nearly the same height as Ponk's tower and would allow for the fire to continue. But Dream's army didn't climb the tower. This meant that when Tommy and Tubbo reached the top and began firing down, the Dream SMP army could not shoot high enough to hit them. They were
We just sent that
completely
donation.
safe. Because of this, as well as fire from the
$50
rest of the Lamberg army down below, Dream ordered his men to retreat
$50
once
donation.
again.
Just came oh, thank you.
This was huge. Somehow, completely outgeared, Lamberg was driving Dream's army out of their own land. And with this victory, Eric convinced the rest of the group to join him in Lamberg, for he had been grinding for a secret weapon. something that would turn the tides of the war and secure victory. A surprise attack. But something was off. As the group moved closer and closer to the final control room, they only became more and more confused. Until they were all there, gathered around a single wooden button. Tommy could not handle the suspense and pressed the button. The room fell silent. Then, the unthinkable happened.
There's nothing in the chest.
Kaboom.
Nope, they were hiding.
Ah.
Eric
Down with the
betrayed them.
revolution, boys. It was never meant to be.
Ah.
Just like that.
Benedict
They all
Arnold.
He was
had
a
nothing.
traitor.
All of their armor and weapons had been stolen or burned, and they all retreated to the van. The place where it all began. To take inventory and come up.
It was
with
never meant
another
to be
plan.
is one of the most iconic
Before
lines
long, it
in
became even
the
clearer
entire
that
story.
they had absolutely nothing. This meant they would have to resort back to the core beliefs of Lemamberg. Winning through words. Wilbur, alone, attempted to negotiate with Dream. But it was no use. And yet another ultimatum was set. If Lemamberg did not fly white flags signifying their surrender of the war, Dream would blow up it all. Believing this was a bluff, Wilbur followed Dream back to Lemamberg, where him and his men gathered at the wall for their final statement. Then, they all remembered the start of the war. The trap, the explosion. They had to stop. It was too late. All they could do was watch.
Get back. Don't let this hurt you guys. Don't let this piece of hurt you.
It's all gone.
Oh, man.
The land, their nation, the van. It was all gone. The dream of independence, a chance at freedom, gone with the swift shot of an arrow. And with that, Wilbur, along with his right-hand man, went to negotiate the terms of surrender. And as they met with Dream, Tommy began to run his mouth, and Wilbur's attempts at calming him were no use. Tommy went on, insulting Dream and even challenging him to a 1v1 bow duel. But then something happened that was expected by absolutely no one. Dream was interested in the duel. And so, a civilized discussion began, and within minutes, a final duel was in place.
Here's the Hamilton.
The
part.
rules
Yeah.
were simple.
Aaron
Both
Burr.
Tommy and Dream would line up on half a heart. After taking 10 paces each, the two would turn around and fire bow shots at each other. The first person to land a shot would win the duel. The stakes were the highest they'd ever been. If Tommy won, Lemamberg would be given its independence. But if Dream won, not only would Lemamberg lose its independence for good, but Tommy would have to give Dream Mellow High, one of the 2 discs he won back from Dream in the First War. With everything on the line, the sun fell low in the sky, and it was a showdown. The creator of the server and most powerful man there versus Tommy, the scrappy 16-year-old with a dream of freedom. They took their positions. Wilbur stood in the center and would be counting off their 10 paces. The fate of Lemamberg was now in the hands of Tommy. All his friends could do was watch and pray. The count began.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
The world stood still. And then
10 paces fire.
Tommy had lost.
He lost.
Lemamberg had
It's
lost
over.
for the second time. And Tommy owed Dream the very disc he spent days fighting to get back. With this,
Days.
it once again seemed that all hope was lost for L'Manberg. But in one final twist, Tommy had an idea. One that would fly in the face of everything he was known for. He requested for Dream to join a private call, and he did. This is what happened.
Dream, I know what you want from me. I'll give you both of the discs if you let us have our independence. Both of them.
Wait. That is a very, very interesting deal. That is very selfless of you. Those are your discs.
For L'Manberg, you know? For Wilbur, for Tubbo.
For L'Manberg.
Okay, I will. How about this? I'll grant you technical independence. For both discs. We will not go into your grounds unless we're allowed, and we will.
You
attack
respect
you.
us. Yeah, just independence,
Yes,
man.
we will
Just
respect
independence.
you.
Just independence.
Tommy, despite for his entire time on the SMP thinking only of himself and his own wants and needs, laid down his most prized possessions for the greater good of their nation.
That's character development.
This
right there.
had a happy ending, and L'Manberg, against all odds, was free at last.
And he would
In
never
the
be
light of their
selfish
victory,
again.
Wilbur gathered the men to write the Decree of Independence. It read, as we gaze upon the swaths of
Decree of
redwood trees,
Independence.
the great hills to our south, and the walls that have protected us for years.
Years.
I, as the now president of L'Manberg, hereby state,
Yo! Suck it, green boy!
Best line.
I should
Liberty
say that to
in
him.
the pursuit
First
of
time
freedom.
you see.
I should call him. I should send him a text
As
and
the
say, I
sun
have
set on
something
their new
important
nation,
to talk to
Tommy
you
and
about.
Tubbo returned to the bench
And
outside
then when he
Tommy's
picks up
house.
the phone, I say,
There,
"Suck it,
they
green
played a
boy."
different disc to celebrate their independence. With the L'Manberg War ending, the server once
Not
again
really.
entered a time of
Yo!
peace. Over the next month, many small skirmishes happened, new developments occurred, and new players joined.
Skeppy.
But the
Skeppy
next
spotted.
true development in their story
Yeah.
would arise in early September. With Wilbur being the self-elected president of L'Manberg, many of the new players, upon hearing this, titled him a dictator. What resulted from these accusations sparked a new era in the storyline. A different kind of war. This was the first annual L'Manberg election.
Ooh.
The election. And there has never been any drama with an election before. Never.
We're not going there.
No.
We're not going there.
All right.
So-
well, what'd you think?
That was great. It was fabulously dramatic, and I am starting to understand the appeal of the whole thing because that was very.
It's starting to feel like a story.
It's starting to feel like a real story with real stakes.
Exactly. Yeah.
I still think there's got to be some way to
L'Manberg
leverage
was
a
free.
Spotify.
In the light of their independence, Wilbur Soot
Subscription.
declared himself.
Wait.
Pause. Yep. That's a great point. That's a great point. I can't believe you didn't think about that.
Yeah, yeah. I want to just like step to one side for a moment. So there was a time earlier where I picked up my phone and looked at a couple of messages, and I just want to explain that because being as I am still a noob to this whole thing, that there are like situations like I was streaming with Tommy one time, and then he needed a break for like 5 minutes, and he went off, and I'm on Tommy's stream, and there's who knows how many tens of thousands of people watching, and everything I'd been doing the whole time was like, you know, Tommy and I doing like this back and forth kind of thing. So when he left, I was just like, you know, sort of going around the level, like so I can hit this bush like that, and completely blanked on the fact that there were tens of thousands of people watching. And I look down at my phone, and Pixie's like, for God's sake, say something. And I was like, oh, right, there's people watching. So, I was sitting here, so I made a point to have my phone where I could see it in case I start doing something completely asinine, somebody can like send me a message. And so I'm sitting here, and also I didn't talk to you about this because it just sort of occurred to me at the last second, but I really, for me, it's very traditional to find some way to tease Hannah Payton whenever I'm on camera. Hey, Hannah. So I kind of, fate turned that around on me today because I'm watching and I see my phone and it's Hannah Payton in the middle of the first video. It's Hannah Payton, and I'm like, oh boy, I really should see that just to get, because like, what is she writing to me in the middle of this for? And I pick it up and I look at it, and she's like, good luck today. And it had been sent like 45 minutes prior. And it just now reached my phone. So Hannah, totally appropriately, prior to this stream start, because she's like, just, there's only one Hannah. And thanks to the miracle of the phone company.
The miracle of the phone company.
It turned into me, once again, turning my back on thousands of people in order to play Candy Crush or whatever it looked like to you guys that I was doing. So that's my story. It's not as good as like a story about doors, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
So I'm gonna take 2 again.
All right, sounds good. Gotta hand over the mic to Floof in case he has some interesting comments to say.
Let's just do that. Let's just
see what he does with it.
put that on there so you guys can hear the snoring. Have you noticed, like, he was so excited, and then
Yeah, before the stream, he was like all over the place.
Hyperdog.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he could have jumped as high as that door over there.
And now he's a Snorlax. So what are you gonna do?
A little bit smaller though.
A small, very compact, and
Yes. I'll be back. Okay, we have one more half of a video remaining before we're all caught up for tomorrow's stream. So yeah, let's see. Shall we do another merch plug? Because I'm pretty sure all of you haven't bought all of the merch yet, and that's a problem. So make sure to go check out Technoblade.com to get this amazing figurine. And if Floof wasn't as comfortable as he is, I would reach over and grab that plushie to show you guys. But I don't want him to get mad at me. So I don't want to compromise our friendship. You guys already know what the plushie looks like. And if you don't, well, you probably should, because you should be on Technoblade.com right now. Also, remember, some Techno Dad shirts right here. Amazing designs. This is the long sleeve design. I just realized holding it over there might be a little bit off screen. Yes, everyone in chat loves Floof, as they should. He looked at me when I said that. He knows his name. Look at that. And then we have the shorter sleeve design with this amazing flower design. I think that's a flower. Is that a flower? I got it. Yes. Okay. I know what a flower looks like. That's promising. So, yeah, I mean, these designs are incredible. I really love these designs. And then obviously, don't forget the Lego figurine. I know you guys can't see it, but again, if you go into Technoblade.com, you can see this thing. It is really, really nice quality. So yeah, how are we doing? How are we doing, chat? What's up? Let's see. I'm trying to see if I can read something from chat. It's going too fast. I'm going to be completely honest. It is going too fast. I just see a bunch of people spamming floof, and that's enough for me. Someone just said, I broke my toe. I'm sorry. That does not sound fun. Well, let's see. Floof, floof, floof. I think that's got to be one of the best dog names I've ever heard, honestly. He hasn't said anything. We gave him the mic and everything, and he just hasn't said anything. Man, a few words, right? Not, oh no, not when I showed up. He was pretty loud when I showed up, but, oh, he hasn't said anything yet. Let me just reach around and grab this really quick. Okay, there we go.
There we go.
He's trying to play with it. All right.
Oh, wait. So before we go into anything streaming, I want to just say a few things. So one is,
Okay.
I got to meet Evan's dad. What was that, like yesterday or the day before or something?
Something like that.
And I also ended up speaking with him today. And, you know, because I kind of had a question for him, and I asked him, I said, what kind of a parent lets their son become a Minecraft YouTuber? So he didn't really have a good answer for me, but, you know, I think there may be an ongoing conversation there. So now I've met Evan's dad, I've met Dream's dad, I've met Skeppy's dad a bunch of times. I swear we're going to do something like me and Skeppy's dad. We're going to do something.
That's a great idea. That is a really great idea.
Yes. And Tommy's mom.
People are saying a good parent, by the way.
Aw. I'm sure I would really appreciate that if my visual acuity allowed me to actually read what
Don't
was
worry,
on
I
the
got you, I
screen
got
over
you.
there. Thank you, yes. Thank God for young people.
You know, I'm wearing contacts right now, actually. So, I mean, is it really like young people, you know?
Well,
like I wouldn't be able to read the title on the screen right there if I didn't have contacts in.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do? So, I was going somewhere with this. Skeppy's dad, I mentioned. There's a whole story about, remember when we met Dream's dad? And, you know, there's a whole story there. I'll tell that sometime. But, I had this whole thing totally laid out in my head, just perfectly. Probably I should just start again. So I said to Evan's dad, what kind of a parent, something, Minecraft YouTuber.
Yep.
Something you can put in anywhere.
Perfect quote.
Yeah, I had a good segue, but it's gone now. So no segue for you. Instead, I'm going to say, so we've just been like goofing. It's all been fun and jokes and cool Dream SMP stuff and Minecraft and making fun of Hannah and, you know, all the things that make up, and Floof.
Don't forget Floof.
But I did want to just say a little bit about some more actually real stuff. The reason that Mr. Technodad exists is because of something that happened to me on Reddit. So not too long after Alex passed, I ended up in this room on stream with Dream, and we spent a little over an hour reminiscing and telling stories and everything. And I mentioned, which was only the second time I'd ever made any kind of public appearance, and the first time was that really depressing video I made called So Long Nerds. So nobody really knew who I was. And I mentioned on that stream that I go on Reddit. And then later I was on Reddit, always lurking. I never did anything but lurk up to that point. And there was, first of all kinds of people saying like, he could be reading this right now, speaking of me, which was sort of surreal. But more significantly, the thing that I saw a lot of was, first of all, an amazing number of people saying how, I'm fine. An amazing number of people saying how much Alex meant to them. And some phrase that's some kind of variation on, he really helped me through a hard time in my life, was really eye-opening to me, because I really didn't get that was like, a lot of this stuff is really new to me, you know, and I was in my 40s before YouTube existed. And I understood that he was funny and he was great at video games, and I kind of had this idea of him as like the quarterback that wins the games, is very popular, except Minecraft instead of football. And that wasn't it at all. That wasn't it at all, as I came to learn. And the thing that called to me the most was so many people saying, I can't stop crying.
It's all right.
No, that's what they were saying. People were saying, I can't stop crying.
Yeah.
I mean, I also can't stop crying. I still cry on a regular basis. But I was his dad. Nobody is surprised that that had a bit of impact on me. What was really surprising was how much of an impact it had on so many other people. I totally did not see that coming at all. And it was like I was being called. I needed to be a part of that community so that I could speak to that grief, most of all, but also speak to joy, because grief has this way of kind of locking down how you think about something in the worst part of the thing. And I had gone through that myself, where for months after Alex passed, the only way that I could think about him was the last week or two of his life, which of course was a bad time. And at some point I came out of that and realized that's not what he was about. That's not what Alex was about. Those last 2 weeks were many things, including righteous, but they weren't joyful. They weren't happy. They weren't optimistic. And that made them I just looked up at the chat and I see what everybody's doing. So thank you. Thank you guys. You're all here for me, and I want you to know that I'm here for you guys, which is why I'm doing this. I totally am gonna sell out and sell t-shirts and so forth, and I'm gonna use that to fund the things that we want to do with the foundation, and it's probably not the right moment to talk about the foundation, but by all means, think about that. The point that I want to say going into this third video is that life is complicated and life is messy and life can be really painful and life can be really beautiful. And the kind of loss that we have suffered, a young man with a lot of eyes on him who was going like this in his life and died. That has the potential to suck the joy out of the lives of literal millions of people. And we can't let that happen. We can't let that happen. Which is not to say, don't cry. I'm not telling you, push your feelings down and don't experience them. No, feel your feelings. If you're feeling whatever you're feeling, I see on Reddit every different kind of statement. I don't feel that bad about it and I feel like I should, and so I feel bad about not feeling what watch out for that. That's a terrible pothole to get stuck in. Or people say, I feel as bad as I felt when my grandmother died and I didn't know him personally, so I don't feel like I have a right to. No, you have every right. You don't need to have been his prom date to have felt the loss. You're not in any different of a position than I am. I'll tell you, I had some really long phone calls with Tommy, and he was not in a good place when I talked to him. And you know what? Tommy's relationship with Alex, you would have to say, it's parasocial. They never met in person. So would we then say, okay, well, Tommy has no right to feel? Absolutely not. Nobody would say that. It's ridiculous. And every one of you watching, your grief is a real thing, and you have the right to it. And I'm here to tell you, feel your feelings, and don't lose sight of the joy and the wonder and the amazing possibilities that life has. Remember Potato Wars. Alex was every bit as much Potato Wars, and Edgy Teenager talks about the meaning of life, and Skeppy tries to troll me, but I troll him first.
Yep.
That was more who he was. And yes, So Long Nerds was a part of his path, but really it was just a little part. So, so now we're going to watch some more stuff, and there will perhaps be weeping. I myself, I can't even make the joke. I'm a very emotional dude. I cry. And the last year, I've been crying more than usual. And that's okay. And I've also been really happy at various times in the last year. So we're going to see stuff. I really don't know what it is. I'm putting my headphones on now, so now I can't hear anything.
Mm-hmm. All right.
What?
I just wanted to add one thing.
Yes, please.
You know, so you were talking about how that the end was just a small part of his journey, and what I remember the most about that time was how positive he stayed through the entire thing.
Yeah.
He never became a different person. The entire time he stayed Technoblade. He stayed true to who he was and didn't let something terrible take control of him. You know, he went out on his terms. And that's the most Technoblade thing that he could ever do. All right, I think we're ready.
As the president
How
of
late
their
are
great
we?
nation.
Oh my God.
Although no one questioned it at the time, this simple act, these few words, would spiral out of control, leading to a new era in the SMP. This was the beginning of the reign of Manberg. Really quick, this video took weeks to make, so if you could take 1 second
Weeks,
to
there it is
subscribe,
again, weeks.
completely
Man,
free
the
and
good
it
old
would make
days.
my day. Thank you. Once again, go check out Lord Cantor, who let me use his recreation of the Dream SMP for this series. The link is in the
I don't
description.
even know how long he's spent on that. It
Also,
must be
make sure to go follow me on Twitter
thousands
for
of
some
hours,
quality
like-
tweets and updates on videos. Anyway, let's start from the beginning. As the weeks went by after the war, not much happened in L'Manberg. The server was at peace, and so there wasn't much Wilbur had to do to maintain their nation. With the addition of a few new players, L'Manberg went from the only independent nation to just another spot on the SMP, a shadow of the glory it once held. And Wilbur, although being the leader of their nation, began to feel his power slipping away. His lack of presence on the server and self-declaration as president meant that he was not getting the respect or admiration he wanted as a leader. This simple fact sparked a plan in Wilbur's mind. A plan for him and Tommy to reclaim the power they rightfully deserved. Wilbur thought, what better way of getting power than having the people themselves vote for you? They would hold an election. But not a normal election. Wilbur's plan was to notify no one that the election would be taking place until after the ballots had shut, leaving him as the only running party, thus forcing the people to vote only for them and swiftly taking back their power. After making Tommy his running mate, the two ventured off to L'Manberg to write the election ballot. They then proceeded to set the date of the election and named their party The Right the Best. That's my personal favorite political party. After that, they began work on their new policies.
because they are
Some
always
of the
right
most
and they are
important
always
included,
best.
We won the war, Vicstar will vote for us, Tubbo,
It's a compelling
and we
point.
will make big things. Feeling very confident that these new policies would gain them the
Tubbo was
support
one
of
of
the
the
entire
reasons.
server, Wilbur and Tommy bragged about their plans to one player. Someone new. A man who would seek to ruin their plans of taking power and win the position of president for himself. Ladies and gentlemen, this man was Quackity.
Here we go.
Where do I start with Quackity? Holding over 4 million subs today,
That
Quackity
is a
has
very
established
outdated number.
himself as one of the bigger personalities on the SMP. Always looking for a chance at power wherever he can find it, he isn't afraid to do whatever it takes to find his way to the top. Whether it be starting an illegal business or masterminding a robbery, Quackity is no stranger to crime on the SMP. But today, he would be putting all that behind him. He would be pursuing something else. Because he was the only other player who knew about the election, he took it upon himself to stand up against their one-party system and give the people a choice. Announcing his campaign right in front of Wilbur and Tommy, Quackity's party would be titled So We Are Gamers, or SWAG for short. And with this, Tommy and Wilbur had to think fast,
Nice.
or
Oh, yeah.
control in their own nation would be pulled out from under them. Following the addition of the second party, both sides scrambled to recruit as many people as they could to help them win the election. But before they began, Wilbur and Tommy knew that they had to change the name of their party. The Right the Best was a good name. Okay, maybe not, but they knew there was only one word that could compete with swag. One word that was universally better and would provide them a basis of recruiting players to their side. They would run as the politicians of gaming. Their new party would be POG.
Pog.
As the
Pog
POG and
versus
Swag
Swag.
parties began their campaigns across
Who
the
will
server,
win?
they attempted to convince as many people as possible to side with them in the election. Starting with Tubbo, the politicians of gaming managed to recruit Jack Manifold and Niachu, two new players to the server who joined shortly after L'Manberg gained its independence. These new additions were good, but to truly turn the tides in their favor, Tommy and Wilbur knew they needed to get someone powerful. Someone with connections at the top, and someone who was admired by all. They needed to recruit George Not Found. But they were too slow. By the time they were able to ask for George's vote, his allegiance already lied with Quackity. With this, Tommy and Wilbur knew there was a long road ahead in the election, and it would not be as easy as they thought. But they still had a few tricks up their sleeves. Tommy attempted to smear Quackity's reputation by creating a collection of fake quotes that made him look bad. He had also taken books of money from Dream as a part of a Minecraft Deal or No Deal that had taken place recently on the server. Using these, Tommy hoped he would be able to bribe and slander his way to winning POG 2020, the election. Upon seeing the wall, Quackity had had enough and proposed they hold a debate right away. Wanting to come off as strong as possible, Wilbur and Tommy reluctantly agreed, and with that, the two parties ventured to the newly created courthouse to hold their first debate.
Yes, it's a courthouse in the sky.
As the two parties entered
Dream
the
SMP
courthouse,
debate night.
they took their sides and prepared for the debate. Yet another new player, Carl Jacobs, took center floor as he would administer the debate. Before the debate began, Quackity convinced Fundy to
I want a guy
join his
looking like
side,
that
and
administering
following
my
this,
debate.
the first part of the debate began. Wilbur versus Quackity. The first issue brought to the table was territories.
L'Manberg has a long history of discrimination against people not from L'Manberg. I myself, I'm not able to enter L'Manberg because of the policies these men have put into their property. And I don't agree with that. I'm gonna let everyone into L'Manberg because it's a beautiful country.
They said
and it
no
deserves
Americans.
to be seen by every citizen in the Dream SMP.
For years, nay I say decades, the Dream SMP has ostracized my group of people, my European brethren stood behind me. L'Manberg is
Centuries.
not a place of oppression, it is a place of sanctuary for our people. What you are intending to do is come into our land and open it up to the very people we seek to escape, just because we've created a better life for ourselves.
Okay,
this
you're
in
not
itself
gonna
is
tell me
tyranny, and I
that
will not
immigration was a big
Wilbur is
It-
embracing
election
tradition.
issue.
It
we
was.
need to embrace tradition. We are a new generation of politicians, Wilbur. I hope you remember that. Embracing your old school policies is just gonna hurt progress.
They aren't
quite
old
frankly.
school. These policies were formed from blood not long ago.
Is that so?
Yes.
Your policies all grow from war. Of
They-
course, you're a warmonger.
Of course
you
they had to
love
grow
to
from
fight
war.
others.
We were
You love
oppressed.
to have wars.
We were an
Wilbur.
oppressed people, Quackity. I led these people
Do
to
you notice
freedom,
what Wilbur's
and I
wearing
will
right
keep
now?
and
You let
uphold
people
the
Look at
Wilbur's
policies.
face
I will
cam. Look at
uphold the
what he's
policies.
Yeah, it's
of freedom.
awesome.
Yeah.
L'Manberg's borders, as long as I'm in charge, will stay closed to all who are non-European.
Choose.
Wilbur.
The people get to choose, Wilbur.
Topic number 2 was their stances on the killing of pets, as an ongoing pet war ensued in the background.
No!
If I am re-elected as president,
Tommy's
I would like
cow
to
got
create a
killed.
police force that
Henry.
will uphold the law so that no further pets are killed in L'Manberg.
Quackity, take the stage.
There was
I
a
think
pet
the
war
moral
where
values
people would
of our
just kill each
people
other's
are more
pets.
important.
Mostly
than
Sapnap.
enforcement.
That was like his
You are
thing for a while.
enacting police enforcement, and what I'm
Like, don't
enacting
bring your pet
is
around
a better
Sapnap.
values of our people. I will enact a policy that will teach all our residents to be nice to each other, and that way we don't have to enforce any sort of
Oh,
laws.
welcome
Wilbur.
to
You
the
know what I'm gonna
real
do?
world, Big Q. I believe if a bad person is going to kill someone's animals, there should be someone to stop them. That's what I'm saying.
What I think is that we should attack the
I'm
problem from the
against
root.
killing animals.
And that's enact and
Me
change
too.
the morals we all have. No
If
one
they're
should be
pets.
dying, and no one's
Sad Map
animals
went
should be
through
dying
a bit
either,
of a dark
Wilbur.
time on the server.
We are attacking the problem from the root. You just want to throw people in jail, Wilbur. I'm not for that.
Tommy, fearing that they were starting to lose the debate, decided
don't
to
let
use the
Sad
money
Map
from Dream to
near
bribe
food.
Carl into ruling
Because
the
you don't
debate
know what's
in
gonna-
Wilbur's
It
favor.
just-
And after a
Yeah,
completely
stay on the safe
unrelated
side, you know.
discussion about political corruption, Carl did exactly that. Next, the running mates would have a debate. This was TommyInnit versus George Not Found.
Now, I think I'd like to address the fact that the reason L'Manberg was created was for freedom. The Dream SMP wouldn't allow our rules, and it wouldn't tolerate us making our own separate kingdom. And I think the fact, George, that the Dream SMP rigged our land with TNT, exploded everything we owned and loved, my base, my embassy. And merely I had to give away my discs just to get L'Manberg back. You know, we want to keep that to our members. I think that is a completely fair point to make. And the fact that you would pressure us out of doing that, well, we had to fight with our very hands and knees, my friends. We have betrayals. I had to give away my discs, and you know that's my prized possession.
Yeah, we're talking about freedom here.
fought
You
with their
lock
very
it
hands and
behind a
knees.
certain group of people. That
But the
seems,
reason we have to
They
make
fought
this
with their
certain
hands
group
and
of people,
knees.
George,
almost.
it's because the Dream SMP, your land, which you stand for, mercilessly blew up our land, killed our
Can you
friends,
tell me
our family, our
why
turbos.
was your land? Why did it need to be blown up? What happened in the first place?
No, George, if you stand by
What
the
did
fact
you-
that
what did you do to
George,
spark
George,
this
if you
war?
stand by the
All
fact
you
that
care
something
about
needs to be
is
blown
war.
up, then how
All
dare
you care about is war. You know who wins in war? No one wins in war, and especially not the people. You are causing mayhem, okay? You're causing chaos.
The beeping is in the
people are
music, by the way,
hurting from it.
guys.
They want peace within the land.
Tommy, say
I
shush,
am leaving my
Shush,
podium.
Goggy.
It's not anyone's phone
After a
going
heated
off.
start to the debate, things got ugly when George pulled out proof that Tommy had bribed Carl. The chaos and low blows continued, even catching the eyes of Dream, who joined the call to defend himself and George. Wilbur then called for a brief recess where he
love that
discussed with Tommy
expression
that they
on
needed
Wilbur's
to
face.
pull
Wilbur's got
themselves
great
together.
expressions.
If they wanted to win the debate, they
I should
needed
work
to
on
take
that.
the high road, follow the rules, and out-debate their opponent. Following the recess, the debate got back on track, with Tubbo as the new moderator. The final topic on the table was conflict.
When this was a simpler time on this server, we all lived in harmony. And it was very nice, very peaceful, and we loved it. And then, you came along. You started wars, battles,
Just went right
killings.
for him.
The list goes on. And simply, my opinion on conflict is we should keep it to a minimum. But clearly in your mind, you want it to the maximum. I don't agree with that.
Yeah, well, I think my stance on conflict, Carl, that would be that I think only when necessary is it right. I think the point you're making about conflict, and that it probably was a nicer time before I joined the server, but that's only
he call
because
him
someone
Carl?
stood up to your tyranny.
If you came
he
on
called
and it
Carl
just been
Carl. Oh, because
amicable,
Carl's the one
like the rest
moderating.
of us, we wouldn't have had to have a
And
war.
he asked
in
the
first.
question, so he was.
If you get elected,
It's confusing though. He was
what
looking at
changes
George.
will you make for the better?
Yeah.
That's a very good point. I think we're going to make sure that this tyranny, this war, this, I'd say discrimination, we'll be stopping that. I don't want any more of war between people. I think it's very important that the Dream SMP server people understand we don't have anything necessarily against them. We just want to make a clear boundary that, look, we fought for our nation. I gave Dream my discs, and now we've earned it. So I think it's very unfair of you to shout, no, anyone must be allowed. Well, sure, if you'd like to make that your policy, anyone can be allowed. But the point is, we fought for this nation, and the fact that you're trying to take it away, again, make it a part of the Dream SMP is what you're trying to do. And that is the opposite of all that L'Manberg stands for. And if that's what you stand for...
Yeah, the
so we're not
beeping
making-
is the music.
After the debate fell into chaos
everyone
once
wondering.
again, Wilbur and Tommy decided that they had had enough and would not continue the debate. They trusted that the people would see through the lies of their opponents and know in their hearts the right side to take. And with tensions as high as ever, the campaign trails continued, growing ever closer to Election Day. September 21st, the day of the L'Manberg election. Everything was in place and the people were ready to vote. But before they released the polls, the two parties had to give their final speeches and announce endorsements. as they all gathered at the podium.
Time of his life
Except for George, who was having the best sleep of his life, they began with
He
their
slept
speeches.
through the election.
My name is Quackity, and I am running for president simply because I didn't think it was fair for Wilbur Soot to run a one-party democratic election, or so democratic as he wants to call it. That is why I have gone up and have challenged this man and all his policies, all his
Imagine
old-school
if the vice
policies
president
to make
slept through the
Lemanberg a better
election.
place.
Hi, I'm incumbent
No,
President
you're not heckling. You just
Wilbur Soot, and I'm here to tell you the reason I'm running for president is because I felt like it was unfair of me to decide myself to be just a dictator. Essentially,
There are
what
weapons in
I'm
the
doing
man,
is
though.
I'm running this election to solidify democracy in our great nation of Lemanberg, and if you vote for me, I'll keep those filthy Americans.
Anyway, following the speeches,
Boo.
Fundy walked
How
up
dare
to the
he.
mic and just started talking.
My fellow citizens, I stand here today humbled by the task before us. Grateful for the trust you have bestowed and mindful of the sacrifices borne by our ancestors. Now I mind to keep my words short and powerful, and thus I say, I am not powerful. I am not resemble the
Convincing.
physique of a leader, and I might not have wealth, but I do have a dream.
He's got bones like his mother.
While Quackity has righteous ideas and Wilbur the leadership, I, together with Nikki, have a bakery and a worldwide shipping right. I can deliver as many cookies and ice cream as you desire once you have voted for Coconut 2020.
Wilbur was not very happy about Fundy trying to undermine the system and join the election the day it would happen. Because of this, he attempted to send Coconut 2020 away and keep them off the ballot. However, the people wanted differently. And so, swaying to the judgment of the people, Wilbur added Coconut 2020 to the ballot. Things were not exactly going according to plan. What started as an attempt to gain more power has now put Wilbur and Tommy at risk of losing all the power they had. But little did they know it was about to get worse. A lot worse. Next up, the parties would reveal their endorsements.
My one endorsement is KSI. He just hasn't happened to responded yet to my endorsement plead. But he's my one endorsement. KSI and
Have you got any
Lord
evidence?
Jesus Christ.
Now, after years of writing and you know, a general negative presence, I finally got who we needed on our side to turn probably just the entire world around.
Look, me and Tommy have had our differences in the
That's
past. I don't
Vic
change
Star. Do you
that.
know who Vic Star is?
I'm a firm supporter of
I mean,
Hog 20,
roughly.
20.
A little
I have
bit.
every belief in it. Support the movement.
That Tommy guy is okay.
I've got my endorsement.
He's
Here
okay.
he comes. The one, the only.
Jschlatt.
Do you know
A
who
comedian.
Jschlatt is?
A
Yes.
man of business, but behind all lies a calculated man. Life is a chess game to Jschlatt, and he has no intention of losing at any cost. He is confident, charismatic, and ruthless. Give him control, he will control everything. Give him a drink, it'll take him 3 seconds. Give him a podium, and he'll rule the world. This was not Jschlatt's first time on the SMP. He had made a cameo for one of Tommy's videos shortly after the Disc Saga, but was then quickly banned by Dream, who had no idea Jschlatt had joined. But now, he was back, and had no intention of endorsing anyone but himself.
Democracy is overrated.
Whoa, wait, no, hold on.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You don't. You think you need a president? You think you need? I'll be my own president.
Everyone,
What?
get off the camera.
You think you want Quackity as your president? Yeah. You think you want Wilbur? I'll run my own presidency.
No.
You haven't seen the end of me.
God.
This isn't the end of. This isn't the end of my presidency.
Everything was going downhill, and fast. Dream endorsed Jschlatt and proceeded to give him his crossbow.
Of course he did.
After Tommy was shot, everyone on the podium retreated to the White House and hid from Jschlatt. After their blockade was repeatedly broken, the three knew they had to escape and broke out through the walls. After Tommy and Jschlatt both died, Wilbur knew there was no point in continuing the rally and decided to drop the ballot. In doing so, he knew he had no choice but to include both Coconut 2020 and Jschlatt 2020 to keep the integrity of the election. The votes began flooding in.
So
Tommy and Wilbur sat on the edge of their
fans
seats.
Could vote on this, and they didn't know who was going to win. Which
thousands
I
of
voted.
viewers voted
And
for who they wanted to win.
I forget how many people voted, but it was tens of thousands of people that voted.
Wow.
And just a little bit of interesting sort of behind the scenes, Wilbur revealed that they had a script, sort of a series of, events that would conspire after each case, whoever ended up winning, which is crazy that they kind of just left that in the hands of the viewers.
Mm-hmm.
And
so was that like a Twitter poll or?
Yeah, they all tweeted out the poll, and like I think it might have been over 100,000 people voted.
Wow.
On the poll, really cool. But yeah, so keep in mind going into this, when they're reviewing the results, no one knows who won, except for Wilbur, because he had to look at it to know. But he made sure no one else knew who won. So everything, all the reactions you're gonna see are completely authentic. So keep that in mind.
The future of L'Manberg was left entirely up to the audience. With the reality of their chance at losing becoming very real, Tommy and Wilbur attempted to make a backdoor deal with Quackity. In the event that Jschlatt 2020 or Coconut 2020 would win the election, Pog and Swag would combine their votes, creating a coalition government with 2 presidents and Tommy as vice president. But Quackity knew this was a bad deal. With no endorsements and no vice president, he was dead in the water. They both knew there was no way Swag would beat Pog, and so when Wilbur refused to make their agreement unconditional, Quackity refused the deal. But he wouldn't give up on the election that easily. He knew that if nothing was done, Pog would win the election and everything he fought for would be for nothing. And so, Quackity offered a similar deal to Jschlatt. Swag Party would give all of their votes to Jschlatt 2020 on the condition that Quackity would be his vice president. Without hesitation, Jschlatt agreed. And with that, all they could do was wait. The future of L'Manberg in the hands of the people. Tommy and Wilbur had faith that the people would come through for their party. But that didn't stop the sinking feeling that maybe, just maybe, anyway,
that does not
after that
take
was
away from
sorted
the
out,
220,000.
Wilbur began revealing the results.
So there were 340,000.
With 9% of the vote, 20,000 people.
were fake.
So. In 4th place is Coconut 2020.
Yeah!
With
Okay, go on.
16% of the vote. Coming in 3rd place is Jschlatt 2020. In 2nd place, with 30% of the popular vote, led by party leader, Quackity, Swag 2020. Meaning that the winner of the popular vote by 45% is Pog 2020, led by the incumbent. 2 nights ago, on the night of the election, Quackity made a deal. No matter what happens, Quackity would pool Swag 2020 votes on with Jschlatt 2020 votes. Pog 2020 got 45% of the popular vote, meaning that the coalition government of Jschlatt and Swag 2020 got 46% of the vote. Meaning that tonight, Jschlatt 2020 has been inaugurated.
They won by 1%.
Jschlatt,
1%.
having been on the server for less than 24 hours, now ruled all of L'Manberg. Wilbur and Tommy sat in shock as the nation they fought for, the nation they built from the ground up, the nation they loved, slipped through their fingers into the cold hands of Jschlatt. Wilbur and Tommy left the podium and went to take a seat in the crowd. And Jschlatt, now the second most powerful man on the server, gave his first decree as president of L'Manberg.
Well, that was pretty easy. And you know what I said? The day I got unbanned from the Dream SMP, I looked every citizen of L'Manberg in the eyes and I said, you listen to me. This place will be a lot different tomorrow. Let's start making it happen. My first decree as the president of L'Manberg, the Emperor, is to revoke the citizenship of Wilbur, Soot, and TommyInnit.
There was no time to think. From leaders of a nation to enemies of the state within seconds. If Tommy and Wilbur wanted to make it out alive, they had to
just
run.
like that.
And run they did. Wilbur drank an invisibility potion, but it was no use. Meanwhile, Tommy made a break for L'Manberg, managing to escape through an underground tunnel Tubbo had built earlier. Tommy and Wilbur met in the forest. They were now banished, not only from the nation of Dream SMP, but their own home of L'Manberg. They ventured off into the wilderness, and as they searched for a place for their new home, they thought about what this meant. They had put everything on the line for L'Manberg, gave their lives for L'Manberg. And now, they were forced to run from their creation, betrayed by their own nation. They built their new home in a small hill a few hundred blocks away from civilization. They had to start over. Having only some tools, armor, and a few random items, Tommy and Wilbur hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
But then, Jschlatt announced he would be giving another speech.
Just like that. About
helpless
20
and
minutes.
alone.
Everything
All Wilbur
changed.
and Tommy could do was listen, as the nation they once loved crumbled before them.
People of L'Manberg! The sun rises.
He's great at
over
giving
another
speeches.
beautiful day in our country. I reckon our nation needs to expand. I reckon we've done our country a great disservice. I reckon we take down the walls.
You can't do that.
Immediately, all citizens of L'Manberg.
L'Manberg.
Required. Oh, help tear down the walls of this country. Thus ends the second presidential speech.
Quackity's reaction is so funny.
The walls. The very walls that protected L'Manberg since the day it was born would be taken down by its own citizens. Wilbur and Tommy could not help themselves and traveled back to watch. As they sat on a nearby hill, their nation's borders fell before their eyes. Wilbur was destroyed. L'Manberg was his dream from the day he joined the SMP, and in the span of 30 minutes, that dream was crushed in front of him. When Wilbur and Tommy arrived back at their base, Wilbur exclaimed that he was a slow-burning fuse, and over the next few weeks, he would become a much different man than the one Jschlatt crossed. Tommy, meanwhile, had already come up with a plan. Both of them knew that just the two of them would not be enough to put up a fight against the new L'Manberg. But Tommy had a trick up his sleeve. An old friend, who in the time they needed it most, stepped up and offered a hand. For once since their banishment, Tommy and Wilbur would have something L'Manberg couldn't. Tommy and Wilbur had the blade. Technoblade. Legend has it he can take down an entire army with only 2 other men. Legend has it he once spent 9 months farming potatoes to bully a guy he didn't even know. Legend has it he once entered 1,500 battles and won every single one of them. Legend has it he can kill Dream. After hiding in the shadows and watching the events of the election unfold, Technoblade saw an opportunity. Being an anarchist, Techno looked for any opportunity to abolish government. And seeing hatred in Wilbur's eyes as the L'Manberg walls tumbled to the ground, he knew this was his chance. Together, Tommy, Wilbur, and Technoblade would build up their new base in a ravine underground. Keeping it a secret from everyone on the other side, they hoped to grow their arsenal right under Jschlatt's nose. And when the time came, they knew they had to regain control of L'Manberg at any cost.
And that is where we'll leave off.
Boy, that ending packed a punch.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the character intros I'm most proud of.
Well, he was a heck of a character.
He was. And that is pretty much all the background information you need to start watching the streams. Because imagine, so he joined right in the middle of all that action. That whole last section where Jschlatt became president to him joining was one stream. Which, yeah, absolutely insane. And so, what is he doing?
That's like, why the hell aren't you petting me?
Yeah. Don't worry, I got you. I got you now. Yeah. And yeah, so when you start watching the stream tomorrow, it literally the next clip in this video, so this is halfway through this video, and the next clip that I show is about where you're going to start watching tomorrow with Tommy. And yeah.
So you pulled, let's see, you pulled out the Bed Wars win streak.
Yeah.
Potato Wars.
Mm-hmm.
The 20v3, which was from...
Yes, that was from Minecraft Ultimate, I believe.
Yeah. And of course, the duel.
Yeah.
The thing that popped into my head as you were listing off those achievements was how he. So the sort of wacky thing is that my perspective on a lot of these things, even like stuff that I've watched all the way through in great detail.
Yeah.
After the fact, like as they were happening, what was happening was he was in his bedroom with the door closed, and then sometimes you would hear screaming.
Yeah.
And my wife is nodding vigorously. Yeah, he was he at his loudest. Of course, he was pretty loud, and
all good YouTubers have to be loud.
Pretty exuberant. Yes, I should probably take that as a note, because I rarely scream in my videos, and I probably need to act out a good deal more. So I think I'm right now. What I'm thinking is I should punch you when you're not expecting it.
I think I would scream if that happened. Yeah. Please don't.
So
Please don't.
So some of those things, unfolded like the 20v3 thing was in a day.
Yeah.
But like Potato Wars was
like 9 months. Like
yeah. And shout out to Squid Kid.
Formidable opponent.
A formidable opponent. And the Bed Wars thing, of course, was forever. And then I would get updates from him. I would hear how he felt about things, and there was a tremendous amount of joy. He really manifested a lot of joy. Although there was this definite like try hard aspect to him that led to a lot of achievement, but wasn't necessarily as joyful an expression. But the Bed Wars win streak thing was like, started out just he was over the moon. Oh, this is so great.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, he was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
How did I get myself into this?
Yeah, and in the last video, so there was 2 attempts. He did one, and then he helped another guy break it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so in both of those, the stopping point was not them losing; it was them choosing to throw away the win streak,
Yes.
which says something about it.
Right.
Who knows how long that would have gone on?
Yeah.
I like to believe it would have gone on as long as he wanted it to. And that is very impressive. Like, how big of a flex is it for you to break a record and then essentially have to throw it away out of boredom? Like, not throw away obviously not throw away the record, but throw away the win streak, end the streak out of boredom. Not like, wasn't even, it's like, yeah, I broke the record, but I could have done more if I wanted to. I just didn't want to, though. And that's, not many people can do that with very many things.
Yeah.
And like potatoes, he could have kept going, and he could have been a potato printing machine for years if he wanted to be.
Yeah, I think he, in both of those cases and in plenty of other cases, that was like he set out to prove a thing to himself.
Yeah.
And then once he had proved that thing to himself, then Gesundheit, then he wanted to go on to the next thing.
Because there's always more things to prove, right?
Indeed. This isn't really a story so much as just like a little factoid, but I was thinking the other day about this, and I thought, I don't know that I've told people that, but I feel like that's something that the community would appreciate. There's am I?
No, you're good.
Okay.
I was talking to wife, not listening to you.
Alrighty. So as the dad, I got to watch his entire trajectory with video games, which includes a lot of years that...
Even before.
Yes. There was a lot of years of video gaming before even Studio Lore came along. And I was remembering the other day about a video game that Alex and I used to play. And the general rule with video games was that I would be good at it, and then I would teach him to it, teach it to him, and then you can guess. But there was a video game when he was 7 or 8 that we used to play, and that he just got to where he could destroy me in this game. And I don't know why exactly, but as the father, you see your son go out and achieve and surpass you, you should feel joy, right? You should feel like, oh yeah. I am so excited. And mostly that was true, but there was this one video game that he fairly quickly got to where he was kicking my butt, and he was only, like I say, 7 or 8, and this one bugged me. And that game was Dance Dance Revolution.
He's got those quick 7-year-old moves.
Yeah. And he would just, he would turn the difficulty knob all the way up to 11, and then he's, his legs are, and it's like, and the screen saying, perfect, flawless. And it's like, that kid. So, like I said, it's not really a story per se, it's just a factoid, but yes.
Maybe it's that it wasn't even really a video game. There was just like straight up dancing or like moving. It's like.
Yeah. There was a period of time where Alex was regularly kicking my butt at DDR.
Oh yeah, DDR.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I guess people still know what that is, even though it's not.
Yeah.
I went to look for a DDR. Oh my gosh, that is cute.
Can they see that?
I don't think he's on frame. He just walked in a circle a couple of times and then
laid down
put his
on
head
the floor.
down.
Yeah.
It's just, I went to look for, like, maybe I could get a setup like we had back in the day, and I could do DDR again, because it was fun. And I'm looking for DDR pads, and they say things on them like, it's compatible with either the PS1 or the PS2.
Yeah.
And that was
kind
of when
those laying around,
yeah, that was when I kind of realized it's like, I guess that game has not continued to come forward in time to be.
It's
with
just
us now.
Dance now.
It's like Dance Dance Establishment.
Yeah.
The revolution is over.
Yeah. Dance Dance Election.
Yeah. What else do I want to say? I think, wow, this went well. This was so great. And I was really expecting a certain amount of, weeping uncontrollably, and that didn't even happen. So, that's, that's nice.
Not that it would have been a bad thing.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it does put a certain amount of stress on the organism to weep like that.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys really liked it. I guess I'm going to wind down. You want to do final remarks, and then I'll do
Sounds
final
good.
remarks?
Yeah. So, again, I am absolutely honored to be here.
Yeah, man.
If you would have told me, maybe even 2 weeks ago, was this even in discussion 2 weeks ago? Like, I don't know, like a month ago, say, that this would be happening, I would not have believed it. I still almost don't believe it. I mean, what your son has done for the community and for my channel and really everyone who was a part of the Dream SMP community and every community that he was a part of, the Hypixel community, just the general Minecraft community, specifically the Dream SMP community, and everyone else that was captivated by what he did. It's just, there's almost no words that can truly describe what he was able to do for everyone. There was no one like him, and there never will be again. And I just hope that we can all appreciate the fact that we have so many hours of time with him to look back on. And I think that's about it for me.
Well, thank you so much for coming. And of course, for all the work you did back in the day.
Still doing.
And they're still doing. Some of these videos took several weeks to make, I understand.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just wait till the ones that took several months to make. I mean, yeah.
All right. Anything clever I had to say is just flying out of my head.
That's okay.
So, yeah, I remember the one thing I wanted to say.
Okay.
There was, so over the last year, one of the questions that has come up a lot on the Reddit, the Technoblade sub, a ton in the beginning, but it's really tapered off, is like, what are you going to do with the Technoblade channel? And, you know, it felt like, on the one hand, I felt like the guardian of it, the person who wanted to be, like, I wanted to be the shepherd of his legacy, the guardian of his legacy, because I obviously feel very emotions and feelings about Alex's body of work. And it was like, there was a distinct faction that was like, don't ever touch it. It should be preserved in amber. And that never seemed like the right answer to me. That seemed a little, made me kind of, okay, I'm totally not using that metaphor. That's terrible. It didn't seem like the right thing to me. It seemed didn't seem like the right thing to me. So, but at the same time, anytime something came up where it's like, oh, here's the thing, maybe that could go on Alex's channel, that it always felt like, no, I don't want to do that. The elbow reveal at Christmas being the exception.
Yeah. Amazing video.
And, you know, I think I've only tweeted on his channel, like, it was either 1 or 2 times, and one of them was in response to some absolutely amazing thing that Squid tweeted about Technoblade, and I felt like that demanded a response. And so I went and got some of Alex's exact words, and I tweeted that, which didn't feel like me tweeting, because it was like, there were no words that came out of me in that tweet. There were only words that came out of Technoblade. And so a year has gone by, and it doesn't seem so, like, fraught. And so here we are. A lot of people have asked about, and I guess I should say that there will be some, I'm expecting to be fairly small, group of people who this still feels very wrong for. And, you know, I hear you. But at the same time, you gotta live life. Things move forward, and, you know, I kind of hate that life moves forward without him. But I don't get to make that call. So, again, here we are, and I feel like it was a fabulously successful and wonderful thing. I'm glad you're all here. I feel like we must have at least 75 people still watching.
At least, yeah.
I think it's probably a good thing that I can't see how many people there are while I'm sitting here. But I will say that I think You might not be quite right in what you said about that there's no way to sum up everything Alex did, because there is one phrase that comes to mind for me, and that phrase is, Technoblade never dies. And let's just cut right there. Thank you. Do, 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 do.
That was
Oh,
the end.
That's copyrighted. I shouldn't.